Hello, hello. Hello, imps. Can you hear me? Hi, hello, hello. Hello. Flahaha. Hello, first time Twitch viewer. Let's go. First time chat. Hello, Amelia. Oh, yeah, it's about Indonesia. So, hello, everybody. Hello, imps. Can you hear me? Okay, cool. Hello and good evening, comrades. The chats are not shared? Hold on. What are the comments on your latest band? No, it's not that it didn't ruin my day. It's just it baffles me why people even do that. I'm like, wait, what? Most of the time people's comments don't really get to me. I've been doing this for like 4 years, but then there are some comments that are like, I don't like metal. Clicks on a metal cover. Like, what the fuck? Okay, like, why did you click it? Like, you know that you can just click out of it, you know? Did you know that? Are you okay? You know what I mean? Bros do be out here being illiterate as shit, you know? Ah, wait, I need to start the shared chat. Sorry. There we go, okay. I forgot the shared chat. Damn. That orange fucker put tariffs on penguins. God damn. Callius telegenosis. Hello. Also, the chat is shared now. Hold on. So everybody, imps, welcome to our discussion for today. Today we'll be joined by our Indonesian comrade, Tile Hopper. Hold on, let me show their Discord reactive. There we go. 여봐, 잠깐만. Tile is here. Alright. I'm gonna be... Why am I here? Okay. Hi, how's the music been? Music been good. I just released a new cover. Speaking of which. Chat, hi, Mana's chat. We're crashing out due to the political situation in Indonesia. It's bad. I'm really sorry to hear that. Yeah, that's why like Comrade Tile reached out to me to like discuss about this because you know like things have been escalating and intensifying in there, and there might be a law that's gonna get passed that would make Tile's entire like streaming content illegal basically in Indonesia because fascist gonna fash, you know. When are you going to do an opening anime sequence? Yeah, okay. I don't know, actually. The only thing I know about Indonesia is that the CIA did a coup in the, yeah, it's the yes. Oh yeah, I'm sorry, Tile. I forgot to I forgot to unmute actually. Can you hear me?
Also known as Tal Hopper. I'm a political VTuber from Indonesia. For reasons that will be obvious later, I have to basically sort of hide my political
Oh yeah,
leanings
for real. You gotta do
for
what you
for
gotta
for
do,
for,
man.
for reasons. For reasons, I have to hide my political leanings.
You don't have to explain to my chat. We all know. Yeah. So, man, like, could you briefly just give us an overview on like the current situation that's going on in Indonesia? Like,
Okay, so
what was the
before
first
the
what was the first kind of like, the catalyst on the leading up to the situation now, if you want to.
the first the first catalyst was the protest on a protest on I forget it's around February. Let me
Yes, yeah,
check
I read about
my
it.
press release documents on 17th February 2025.
Mm.
Basically, on that day, the government, Prabowo Subianto's administration, just recently passed an extreme austerity measures. We are talking about austerity measures that threaten to cut scholarship programs,
Right, yeah.
pay for lecturers, pay for teachers, pay for everyone. It's oversaw
Holy
one
shit,
of the
yeah.
biggest public service layoffs in Indonesia. Not to mention health programs it impacted, social programs is impacted,
Damn.
organizations that help people with disabilities are impacted. Like their budget went from like, if I recall correctly, somewhere around 500 billion rupiah, which is not a lot in US dollars, to like
Right, it's a
only
lot
30
for the
million.
people in, like inflation and
Yeah.
everything, right? Also, sorry, I forgot to. How are you, comrade? How's going on? How have you been navigating the situation there? Like, being a content creator with your political leanings and all. Are you okay? Like, are you safe? Or what's going
Well,
on?
the last, well, screw it. I'm gonna talk it here. When I talk about discussing point by point about the RUU TNI or revisions to the national military law, I got like 57 missed calls during the stream, and I missed
Oh,
it
wow.
because I set my iPhone to like block spam callers.
Right, yeah.
And I only notice it
57.
like after I wake up in the morning and see the notification overview. I was like, "Hey, you got 57 missed call during
Oh
the
my
stream." I was like, "What the
God.
fuck?"
Whoa.
But that's not
For real?
that's not the yeah, for real. That's not the worst. Like I'm grateful that somehow that's the only kind of harassment I got because in reality a lot more people, a lot
Yeah,
more
yeah.
activists, even ordinary people, like we're talking about like college students who
Yeah,
just like
yeah.
make pictures of like our current president kissing the previous president is getting doxxed and terrorized daily.
Dude, what the fuck? You can't even do satire without getting arrested,
Yeah.
huh? That's
You
basically
cannot
violating free speech. Like, do you,
yeah,
do you
not
guys
even
even have
arrest.
free
Yeah,
speech?
not arrest. I mean, it's technically we have free speech. Like
Technically,
this is
yeah,
how
on paper.
this is how Indonesia plays it, and I believe this will be the blueprint for other nations who's
Oh,
gonna slide into
definitely, yeah.
fascism or this authoritarianism. It's like they're gonna hide behind the veneer of well we have free speech, but they gonna mobilize. We have terms in Indonesia called oknum, basically bad faith actors. They're gonna mobilize
Oh,
bad
basically
faith
the brown
actors.
shirts, huh?
Yeah, the brown shirts. They're gonna
Yeah,
mobilize
okay.
totally not the cops, totally not the
Yeah.
pigs, totally not the military to harass you, to dox you, to terrorize your phone with spam calls, to spread your numbers, like what happened to another streamer and a friend of mine, Resident 014.
Oh, for real?
His number was spread to like group chats full of like horny people, and then and basically we're told like, hey, call this number if you need like phone sex.
What the fuck?
Yeah, that's
Ew.
basically what happened.
That is gross, man. What the hell?
So that's how Indonesia is hiding it.
That is. I mean, I'm not
And, yeah.
surprised actually, but also like they would always go to like they would always go low whenever
Yeah, they always go low.
yeah, just to achieve their they would do by any means necessary to achieve their goal of suppressing free speech.
Yep.
Man, what the
And
fuck?
recently, yeah. And recently, I had discussions with analysts and journalist groups talking about the current safety and climate of Indonesian journalists, and the statistics are genuinely worrying because we don't have state censorship. Let's keep that in mind. Indonesia does not have state censorship, but
Okay.
because a lot of medias, especially mainstream media, relies on ad purchase from state-owned corporations and the government itself. The government basically used that as a stick to make sure the mainstream media kowtows to the official government rhetoric. Like if you criticize us, maybe next month your ad purchase is gonna go down by 20%.
Damn, what the fuck?
That's basically what they do, and this leads to a culture where, like, if I recall correctly, the numbers, I'm gonna have to open the document again. More than like 70% of Indonesian journalists engage in what is basically self-censorship.
Oh, okay. So what does
Because
that like?
they're
What are they trying to do? Like, what's the end goal here?
the end goal is I don't know what's the end goal. Like, I have a few theories of my own, but I feel like the end goal is like to bring back Indonesian's media back in line to how it was during Suharto's era.
Oh, damn. If it wasn't already, right? Like, I mean, what are they trying to go back to? You know, even if it's not
And
already how it is, but back then, like, did they want to like get lower than that? Like, what the fuck? They
yeah,
want to get
because
even worse.
we have to get into a little bit of historical context here. I know some of you in the Manas chat probably know about Indonesia from books like Jakarta Method that
Yeah,
discuss
I
the
did do.
one of the biggest politicide in human history,
Yeah.
basically.
How many millions was it? Like millions of communists were slaughtered, right?
It's not even communist. That's like the worst part of it. If you were suspected to be a communist,
Oh, suspected.
you got
Basically,
killed. You don't even have to be a card-carrying member of PKI. You don't even have to be a member of Indonesian Communist Party. If you like say got mutual aid from them, like you got free bags of rice from them, because that's what
they helped you
PKI
out. Yeah.
did back then. They helped
Yeah,
you
yeah.
out, and your signature as recipient of said help.
Was
They
found.
killed you.
Damn.
They killed you. It's
And your
that bad.
family too, right? Like
Yeah,
they
your
were doing
family.
collective punishment and such.
They're doing collective punishment, and it's not even done 100% by the state. It's done by paramilitary organizations that is
Oh,
definitely
okay.
not affiliated with the state.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
Oh
it,
wow.
it got so bad. Like there are communities in Kuningan, West Java that has high percentage of Christian compared to the rest of the province, because their grandparents or their fathers were suspected of being communists because they did not have any religion. They're basically animism believers. Like they
Right.
worship,
Yeah.
they have local religions.
Yeah.
And for paramilitary organizations such as Pemuda Pancasila, or back at the time it was, I think, also some of the religious organizations like Banser, they think that means you're a communist. So
fuck?
a lot
Okay.
of priests, so a lot of priests in Kuningan decided like, hey, you know what? Screw it. We're gonna do mass baptism just to protect you.
Damn. Okay. That is. Yeah, like I admittedly I do not have a lot of knowledge about like after reading, you know, like I've read the Jakarta method like when I was in college, and I was like, whoa, this is fucked up, man. But I think I need to read it again.
Jakarta method only scratched the surface.
Yeah, I'm
Because
pretty sure.
you have to remember, Jakarta method happens under Suharto's regime. The current sitting president of Indonesia, Prabowo Subianto, is Suharto's son-in-law.
Ah, okay. Well,
So
okay.
if you're
That makes a
asking
lot of
questions
sense.
why Indonesia wants to backslide back to Suharto era, well, it's his son-in-law who's in charge
Yeah.
now.
His
of
son or
politicians-
his grandson or
his son-in-law.
son-in-law?
His son-in-law.
Okay. Fuck.
He's
man,
not even
what the
his
hell?
son. His son-in-law.
Ex-son-in-law too. Apparently.
Ex-son-in-law.
Damn, what the fuck? What are they trying to do? A Chinese,
There are
Danish
a
Chinese.
lot of people.
There
There are
are.
a lot of people within the Indonesian government that was basically Suharto's lackeys back in the day. Luhut bin Sarpanjaitan, for example,
All right.
he is also one of Suharto's lackeys. And hang on, I forgot the current Ministry of Defense. The current Ministry of Defense is forgot his name. Shit. The current Ministry of Defense, Jafri Samsudin, was also Suharto's lackeys, and just like Prabowo was tied to human rights violation during Indonesia's invasion to East Timor.
Oh, okay. That's a lot of like. It goes really way back, and there's no. They're just trying to consolidate power at this point, huh?
Yeah,
Man.
basically, one of the failures of like I think it was mentioned a little bit in Jakarta Method. Like Indonesia went through what is called era reformasi, the reform era in 1998
Yeah,
after
reformasi. Yes.
reformasi. After the global economy crash, people had enough and they protest. They went to the streets, and Suharto's had to resign. That was basically the reform movement, and a lot of the failures and a lot of things that happening in Indonesia right now, like the fact Prabowo, like Suharto's son-in-law, is now president, can be traced back to the failures of reform era. And I think it's important for like other leftists to understand that reform is not enough.
No, definitely not. Especially not to. I think a lot of majority of my audience are socialist, or at the very least,
Yeah.
like a lot of. I am a communist, so a lot of us understand that there is no way around reformism.
Yeah. And Indonesia is basically your key evidence that reformism has failed. Because we don't hold Suharto and his cronies with accountability. There is no Truth and Reconciliation Commission ever formed in Indonesia. There's no justice for the victims of the 1965 communist massacre,
Right, yeah.
or the victims of the disappearance that allegedly, I'm gonna use the word allegedly heavily,
Yeah.
were conducted by Prabowo Subianto back in 1998.
It's about the same as like what happened in Latin America. Are you familiar with Operation Condor? What they did in like
Yeah.
basically the U.S. backing all the dictatorships, against democratically elected socialist governments, right? Like in Chile, like Allende was
Yeah.
murdered
Yeah.
and then was replaced by Pinochet. Was basically the same exact thing that happened in Indonesia, but it's a lot more gruesome, I guess. I don't know which one is more gruesome actually. All of it.
I mean, it's all
It's
gruesome.
all
It's all
gruesome,
gruesome.
yeah.
It's all fucked up.
Man.
Yeah, as Indomaret pointed on the chat, like to this day, every Thursday there's a protest in front of the presidential palace demanding justice for the victims of 98. It's called Kamisan, and like every Thursday
Damn.
for the past 25-ish years.
So before we start the discussion, I think one of my chatters wanted to like kind of have a brief historical context on what happened in the first place. Like I think it's gonna be better if we go back to like the 1965 incident.
Yeah, the 96. Yeah. Like the historical context, it all starts in 1965 when the biggest politicide ever happened, and then Suharto took over and basically made it law that communism, Marxism, socialism, or
Yeah.
any ideology that with it are legal. Every single political parties in Indonesia have to follow a very strict ideological guidelines, and Suharto basically forced the mergers of various political parties. So during his era, there were only like 3 political parties. There was PDI, Partai Demokrasi Indonesia, Indonesian Democratic Party. There's Golongan Karya, or like the People's Golongan Karya, People's Work. I guess that's one way to translate it.
Yeah.
And then there's also the Islamic Party. Basically, there were only three political parties in Indonesia for a really long time, and all those three parties have to follow basically what Suharto think is the right ideology, basically right-wing populism.
Yeah.
So you have right-wing populism with nationalist flavor. You
Yeah.
have right-wing populism, the original one with Golkar, and then you have right-wing populism with Islamic flavors.
all
That's it.
all
That's it.
right
That's
wing
your only three
populism with
options.
different flavors.
They're all right-wing populists, which
Oh
is kind of
God.
like
There's just
mirroring what
no
happens in like
counterbalancing anyone. Everybody is just fascist
yeah,
with fash with different flavors.
you're fine with different
Yeah.
flavor and branding. It's basically like the United States now, except we're already doing that way before United States.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, for those who are not familiar about the the Jakarta method, it was written by Vincent Bevins, and it talked about like the U.S. and backed anti-communist campaign during the the Cold War, basically. So allegedly, like Comrade Tile was saying, there were about 500 to like a million. Allegedly, people were killed, suspected to be communists, right? But not
Yeah.
but not even all of them were communists. They were just like helped. They were if the Communist Party so much as helped their family, they were already considered communist sympathizers, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And also, like, if you somehow survive, you still have to like check in with the police. My girlfriend's grandma
Oh wow.
was part of like Gerwani, the Indonesian's women movement that is like spearheaded by the Indonesian Communist Party. And to this
Right.
day, even in her old age, every week she has to check in to the local police officers.
Why?
I don't know. That's the law, basically. And her mom was
Wait, she
basically
has to
prohibited
check
from.
in. Why? Like, she just has to like, hey, I'm not doing anything
Maybe
illegal.
because like maybe this 80-year-old grandma has like a communist cell, so that's why we have to check her
What the
her
fuck?
in every week. Like that's basically
What can an
how
80-year-old old
Indonesian
woman do? What the
government views communism.
bro? Also,
And,
just to mention,
and yeah, her mom is also not allowed to like uh basically enlist as cops or military personnel based, but also her mom is not allowed to work in the
the
public
government.
servant sector,
Like,
the
okay,
government sector,
okay, yeah.
because like yeah, you're the daughter of a communist
Communist, yeah.
sympathizers. That's a no.
What the fuck? That's like even limiting her potential or like her influence, or like it's just preventing her from getting jobs. Is really? It shouldn't that be illegal? What the fuck?
Yeah, but
That sounds
but
very illegal.
that basically what happened under basically the imperialist supervision.
Yeah,
Like
that's
the
true.
US allowed that to happen, the rest of the world allowed that to happen, and it went basically unnoticed.
Well, actually, in the book, also, Bevins highlighted that what happened in the massacre that occurred in 1965 to 1966 was a blueprint for the U.S.-backed anti-communist violence worldwide. So that's like basically where it all started. Like the kind of like the most, what do you call this, for them, the most efficient method of trying to eliminate like any form of like socialist movements. Like the term Jakarta method refers to the systematic elimination of leftist movements, well, through mass killings, with the
Yeah.
backing of the U.S. government, of course. Though not
Government.
even just the U.S. government, it's the West. Basically,
Yeah.
they just want the. I think it. We need to address that it was from the context of the Cold War, with the fear of communism, with the McCarthyism that they were doing in the United States, right?
Yeah.
So after the U.S. after World War II, the U.S. kind of realized that the Soviet Union was an existential threat to the West, the Western hegemony. So they wanted to suppress like the leftist global movements, right? And
Yep.
under
They succeeded at least. Yeah, at
they
least
did,
with
yeah.
Indonesia, they succeed not only killing but practically suppressing
Yeah,
any leftist thoughts.
yeah, that's true. Like under Sukarno, right? Like he was not even like that. He was not really. Was he like? He was just left leaning, right? He was not really outright communist. Was he?
He's a little bit weird, to be honest. Even like as Indonesians, I found him political leanings a little bit weird.
How is
Like
he weird?
he believes in this concept called nasakom, or basically
Ah.
nationalism, religion, and communism. He believes like
Okay,
you
okay, okay.
you
Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
three can
I've
work
read
together.
that,
All
yeah.
you three can work together under this belief. And I have like he basically make his own version of like Leninism called Marxism, but instead of leaning into industrial growth, he's leaning into agricultural growth. So he's basically like, okay, you guys can work within this framework. I already have the ideological foundation for y'all to work together, and it didn't work. Obviously, everybody hates each other.
Oh. Wait, what's the what do you mean by everybody hated it or everybody hates each other?
Well, the Nationalist Party hates communists, that's given. The Communist hates the Nationalist Party. The Islamist Party hates the Nationalist Party and also hates the Communist
that's
Party. The
okay.
Communist Party hates
He was
so, like,
trying
they
to
hate
do
all.
like a rainbow coalition of like okay. Yeah.
It
That's
isn't that we're
hella
good,
weird.
but like you forgot that everybody hate each other.
Although I mean, credit to him, he did allow the PKI to like thrive, at the very
Yeah.
least. Yeah. But the thing is, man, what the hell?
I mean, as a silver lining, at least one
is
of the
why-
things that Indonesian.
I think this is why that a lot of people need to read This is why it's important to read theory, so you don't have like a mixed bag politics like that. And if you don't have like an actual guiding principle that you know that's been tested throughout time. And also
Yeah,
that's
basically,
not
Sukarno
that-
does
that-
not.
basically you need to have like a dialectical materialism too to guide you through your actions, right? Because if you don't,
Yeah.
you'd end up like with this mixed bag of shit that it was not, in the end it was not effective. And
Yeah,
it was
that's
overthrown
Sukarno.
by Suharto and
Yeah.
yeah.
Sukarno was well read. He understands dialectical materialism, but he's like, nah, I'm gonna do my own thing. Fuck y'all.
I mean, that's not like, you know, to be fair, it's not like totally unwarranted, because you know I think that each country needs to have their own kind of, like, for example, like in North Korea they have juche, right? And it works for
Yeah.
them, for their own from their within their context, right? Within what happened historically, what happened to the North, that they needed to abide by juche, like, because that really helped them like rebuild their country into what they are now after their 20% of their population being leveled, bombed to oblivion by, you know, the United States, right?
It's-
So that is, I think that's, you know, to me, like, yes, like I think each country should not just like copy the USSR, you know, or not, or copy China, or copy, like, it doesn't work like that. You have to, you know, work within the means, so like within your given country, and you gotta make it work within the context of your own history and your material conditions, right? Release the tapes, okay.
Well,
Even if-
at least there's a silver lining that some of Indonesian Communist Party ideas still alive to this day. At least some form of the policy,
oh, for real?
like
Really?
yeah, tunjangan hari raya, or basically an extra pay you got during Ramadan
Okay.
is a concept introduced by the Indonesian Communist Party.
Oh, for real? That's really good though,
Yeah.
at least.
So yeah, so like people, because you know it's a tradition, or like tradition slash religiously encourage that Muslims during Ramadan, or at least during Idul Fitri, they have new clothes. They share the joy and the wealth after winning the 30 days of Ramadan. So like the Indonesian Communist Party was like, yeah, give those people extra pay because they need it. And that's a thing that is still exists in Indonesia to this day.
Yeah. Just going over the historical context first, just to continue. If people just to give more of the chat like some history if they didn't know about it. Basically there was a coup, right?
Yeah.
By leftist officers like in around in 1965 was it? And that but the coup failed, and that gave like Suharto the pretext to seize power, right?
Yeah.
And then
There are a lot of things is still a mystery. There are a lot of gaps in Indonesian history during that period.
yeah, and basically right, the when Suharto took power, or took he overtook the government, he had like he launched like a nationwide purge of the communists, like communist, leftist, and like even ethnic Chinese, right? What the fuck?
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
intellectuals
because
as well. What the hell?
so yeah, that's basically what Suharto did.
Was it
under
the
like
Pancasila? Was it was that? How do you pronounce it? Pancasila
Which one?
Youth or something? What the death
yeah,
squads? That,
Pemuda Pancasila.
Okay, Pancasila Youth. Oh yeah, the C is pronounced as cha, right?
Yeah.
Pancasila. Okay. The death
Pemuda
squad.
Pancasila.
They were the ones that carried out the fucking. They were supplied by the CIA too. Like they were assisted by the CIA of which people to kill. What the hell?
Yeah. And that organization still exists to this day and still has a little bit of political power.
A little bit. Just
A little bit.
A little bit.
That's just a little bit. Like, as a token of gratitude from the Suharto's government, Pemuda Pancasila can have a little bit of political power as a
Fuck,
treat.
man, what the hell?
Yeah,
That's a treat. Okay.
As a treat. That's the
Oh,
reality
that is
of
so
Indonesian
fucked
politics.
up, man. What the hell?
We don't have official death squads. We just have like a bunch of supposedly civil organizations doing the dirty work.
I mean, that makes a lot of sense, but like, holy shit, man. That is. I mean, I'm not surprised, but also like the fucking audacity, right? Like, okay, I guess. What the fuck? They really went there, huh?
Yeah.
And also, the thing is, like let's just also kind of highlight the complicity of the West, right? Like the US and the UK were the massive supporters of the massacre, right? They provided intelligence via the CIA, right? And fucking weapons, right? Weapons and diplomatic cover, because nobody can touch like Suharto back then, right? What the hell? What like
Yeah.
Was he like suddenly immune to like war crime? Like war crime charges? Like what the fuck?
Well, at least one of the declassified documents around the East Timor. It's basically there's a classified CIA document about like the conversations Kissinger had with
fucking guy,
Suharto
that
and
guy
Indonesian
again.
government officials, because of course it's Kissinger.
Oh,
of course
it's
Kissinger is
Kissinger
involved in this story.
again. Did you know that
Basically,
we
yeah.
actually also read some declassified documents regarding the Operation Condor? Actually, I mentioned Operation Condor because it was modeled after the Jakarta method.
Yeah.
Like what the
So
fuck?
basically, yeah, what the fuck? Wait, like, if there's anything bad that happens to any third world country, it's probably Kissinger.
Yeah, and that motherfucker lived to 100. Like, where's the justice in old age? Like, imagine all the fucking innocent lives that he took. Man, I wish these are the moments where I wish that hell was real, because even if I go there too, at the very least I know that motherfucker is in there too. Like, fuck you, man. Let's go to hell together. I don't give a fuck as long as you're there too. You know?
As long as
Fucking hell! What the hell? And
yeah,
the
of
thing
course,
is,
Kissinger is involved in the story.
oh yeah, but because of course it was Kissinger, man. I'm so glad that he's like 6 feet under now. Like, we have an additional gender neutral bathroom. another gender neutral bathroom to our collection, adding to our collection. Fucking next to what's her face, Margaret Thatcher and Ronald Reagan.
Yeah. Yep. So I'm
Man.
gonna read the direct quote from the classified documents. It's basically
Okay.
Suharto asking, "Hey, can we invade Timor Leste, please?" And Kissinger saying, "It depends on how we construe it. Whether it is a self-defense or is a foreign operation, it is important that whatever you do succeeds quickly. We will be able to influence the reaction in America if whatever happens happens after we return. This way, there will be less chance of people talking in unauthorized way. The president will be back on Monday at 2 p.m. Jakarta time. We understand your problem and the need to move quickly, but I'm only saying that it will be better if it were done after we return." So basically, Kissinger said, "Okay, you guys can invade Timor, but after we leave." And Suharto did that exactly after U.S. leaves Indonesia.
Oh, what the fuck? Okay. Well, that's basically the same kind of like, oh, can we create the pretext to like do this and that? Like, man, what the like? Oh, it depends on how you frame it, because we can't we can't make it look too war crimey, Like we gotta make it look a little bit more like justified on like international, like the international, like view.
Yeah.
But like basically that's just creating pretext to murder people. Yeah.
Yeah.
To create to conduct a
always
massacre.
Kissinger.
It's always Kissinger. What the hell? More Kissinger cable reading. I fucking hate this world, man. Like I always tell like my chat, like I live in the wrong timeline. Why am I here? I don't want to be here. Fuck this shit. I'm pretty sure I'm in the wrong timeline. What the hell?
Yeah.
And hold on, like
my
the let's talk about like the long-term consequences of like the Jakarta method before we talk about the current situation. Like, what are the long-term consequences from that?
Well, the long-term consequence of Jakarta method, and it's on the document. You can show it. I'm gonna try my best to
Oh, hold on, yeah.
read the translations of the piece of law that is like still exists to
Wait,
this
is
day.
it the PDF that you sent or?
Yeah, it's in the screenshot. It's in one of the screenshots that
Oh,
I
okay,
sent
okay,
in the
okay.
section the
But
post
let's
Jakarta method
also
reality.
also I just want to add like it's because of like neoliberal capitalism too. That because
Yeah.
of that domination, like because of the destruction of leftist movements in the global south, right? Like the continuous destruction of leftist movements not only in Jakarta or like Indonesia, but also in the global south, in Latin America. Yeah, because they did the same exact shit in Latin America and what they did with what they did in Indonesia, right? That
Right.
made neoliberal capitalism become the dominant thing that we have now. We are all suffering from neoliberal capitalism, and a lot of the
Exactly.
massacres were kind of just like swept under the rug, right? Like there the
Right.
like you said, like there's so many people that were made to disappear that were never found anymore. Like so many unaccounted deaths, right? And
Yep.
still like all of that, and they still turn it around like in the global south too, that they make, oh, it's okay that Pinochet took over because they killed communists anyway and we don't like communists. What the fuck do you mean? The communists are the ones that fought for your labor rights, bitch. The fuck. Well, yeah.
No.
Yeah, that's why like that poem, the I forgot who wrote that poem, but the one with the line that first they came for the communists, right?
Yeah.
That's it. It's
Because
there
they-
for like the communists was the first in line for that reason, because they really the Nazis came for the communists first, and when nobody started like fighting for anyone anymore, yeah, that's that's when they realized, oh shit, yeah, we fucked up. Because I didn't
Yeah.
know that the leopards eating people's faces party are gonna eat my face, and that's
Yeah.
just how it what happened. Yeah. But anyway, hold on. I will show the chat.
Yeah. Yeah. Page 3,
Page 3. Hold on.
basically. Yeah, that's the screenshots of the piece of law that I'm gonna try to translate at best of my abilities.
Is it page 3?
One with a lot of
Okay,
like
Pasal,
screenshots
this
of
one, right?
bills. Yeah, Pasal. Yeah. So, Chad, what you're looking at is Indonesia's penal code. Articles 17A. Anyone who disseminates by audio, writing, or any form of media, disseminates any
Okay.
or disseminate or expand the teachings of communism or Marxism-Leninism
Oh,
in
damn. Okay.
any form is punishable by the law at minimum 20 years of prison.
Fuck, what the hell? Really?
Yeah, Article 107C. Anyone who spreads or develops communism or Marxism-Leninism ideologies that cause material harm or material damages, extremely ironic,
Yeah. Fuck.
is punishable by law with 15 years of prison time.
15 years.
15 years minimum, a maximum 15 years. Article 107D. Anyone who, through any forms of media, spreads communism or Marxism-Leninism with the intent of replacing Pancasila as the nation's ideological foundation is also punishable by the law with 20 years of prison
Bro, what
time.
is this? What the hell?
Article 107E. Anyone who make an organization that may have communist or Marxism ideological leanings in any form,
Fuck.
or anyone who creates established connections slash channels and providing aid to organizations within Indonesia or outside of Indonesia that is suspected to have communist or Marxism leanings in any shape or form is also punishable by law.
Fuck. Wait, so wait, what the hell? So basically, even if basically you right now you're doing something illegal right now, sharing a
Yeah, technically speaking, what I'm doing is fucking illegal.
what the hell, man?
Like, even like talking about it doesn't have to be Marxist or communist ideas because it's explicitly says in the law that suspected to lean. So even technically speaking, any form of labor organizations in Indonesia is basically illegal or always under suppression.
Damn, what the fuck?
Basically it's the anti-leftist law. Indonesia have the
okay.
anti-leftist law.
That makes a lot of sense. So what do they want? They don't
but-
want any opposition. How snowflakey
Yeah,
of
basically.
them.
But in 2002, at least 2002, the fourth Indonesian president Abdurrahman Wahid at least tried to nullify this piece of law. He presented the idea to nullify TAP MPRS 25/1966, basically the legally binding resolution from House of Representatives that was basically the legal foundations for these articles. Like Abdurrahman Wahid, also known as Gus Dur, basically said like, yeah, let's remove this stupid piece of law because there will be no political reconciliation if we don't remove this. We will never be able to solve Suharto's government atrocities if we don't remove this piece of law.
What the hell?
Sounds like a good idea, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Unfortunately, everyone hated it. Even the political actors behind the Reformasi movement hated it.
No, you can't really do anything with reforms, you know?
Yeah.
There's no moving forward. It's only like moving backwards. Oh yeah, somebody said in the chat, if for example an Indonesian would subscribe to me, like, because I'm openly a communist, right? Technically speaking, they are suspected to support communism, the communist movement, and thus able to be jailed max of 15 years. Yo, you're gonna go to jail. Like, man, what the fuck? Are you gonna be okay? What the hell?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know, man. I'm on my last line anyway. So I'm gonna talk it later, but I'm pretty much on my last line. But yeah, that's basically it's super ironic considering Abdurrahman Wahid, or known as Gus Dur, is a very religious figure. And he's the one who presented the idea, hey, maybe this piece of law that prohibits any leftist ideology is stupid. Like, he didn't mince words. He basically called it stupid.
Bro, what the hell?
And then everybody hated him for that.
I mean, okay. What the fuck?
Wait,
Neighbors
so
being
apply
loud at
this.
night call the cops and they're communists. Okay. There are a lot of cases where there's dispute between neighbors. One of them called the cops on them with suspected of with the suspicion of communism. Yeah, and got the land for themselves. Whoa, what the fuck?
Yeah, that used to be a thing, at least, well, not in the present day, but that kind of thing used to be a thing. Like, you had a land dispute, just accuse your neighbor of being communist, problem solved.
No fucking way, dude. Ain't no way.
Like, the government will, yeah, like, it happened a lot in the 60s and 70s.
There's
and
not even any
impacted.
investigation. Like, hey, maybe they're fucking lying. What the fuck? No due
It's
process
like, hey,
whatsoever.
no due process. Like, hello, cops, I suspect my neighbor is a communist. And like,
Oh
okay,
my
we're gonna
God.
investigate him. And by investigate, we mean disappearing him.
They're basically doing the exact thing that you know the fucking Americans, like the right wing Americans, are fearing the leftists would do. The actual fascist right wingers in Indonesia are actually doing the thing that they're so afraid of. Like, what the hell?
Like, I'm pretty sure if Joe McCarthy is still alive, he would be like have a hard on how Indonesia deal with communism. It's like, yes, we should communism to the United States.
Sure,
yeah.
He would be so overjoyed. And then we even coined the term McCarthyism, right? Like, damn, he's so proud of himself, twerking in his hellish grave.
Basically, one of your chat asked like how much of this is enforced. Basically, during the 60s and 70s, it's heavily enforced. Like, if they suspect you of being communist, you're either gone or dead. That's like the only two options.
Bro, how do they even like who do they just not want to like investigate whether like, oh, this person must be lying? You know, they just want the land or something.
Nah.
But what if they accuse the other one? Okay, for example, you accuse me of being a communist. What if I accuse you back? Like, hey, the fuck you are a communist.
I guess both of them were disappeared.
Bro, what the
But I
hell?
get, but okay, in reality, it's probably gonna depend on who has the more capital. Like if I accuse you of being communist and you accuse me of being communist, and then I am richer and I can bribe the cops, I win.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. That's classism.
Yeah.
Just suffer from with a sprinkle of classism, and McCarthy. Yeah, that's it. Man, this shit is fucked up. You know, it's like the Salem witch hunts. Yeah, it is. You think cops would pass a perfectly good chance to brutalize innocent people? Yeah, that's true.
I mean, it's not even the cops. Mind you, like, yeah, the cops process the investigation, but the ones who's doing the dirty work are like organizations like Priscilla, the Pemuda Pancasila, and other paramilitary organizations that is like doing the dirty work. So the Suharto government can like pretend like, hey, the Suharto government can pretend like, hey, my hands are clean.
Yeah.
It's just it's just the people are against communism.
They are, for no good reason too. Like, other than like, oh, the commies are gonna take your toothbrush. No, bitch! We want people to have free healthcare, free education, fucking, housing. So you don't have to pay rent. What the fuck? Yeah. They do what Stasi do. Ah, damn. Yeah. Abdurrahman
Wahid Gusdur.
It's also the one who ended the Suharto era cultural genocide against Chinese Indonesians and recognized the Chinese New Year as the national holiday. Ah, okay.
Yeah, like he's a good man. It's just unfortunate that a lot of his ideas were somehow ahead of its time.
Right. Can we go back to hold on, the introduction of this? So let's like now that we have more context to the discussion, shall we have an overview on what happened?
Okay, what happened in recent times? I forgot. I should have sent this. There's another document that basically me and like a local organization have have a nice day. Have written about like basically a call for international journalists to cover one of the earliest protests that is basically the spark behind all of this. I mean, I warned you, the document is kind of lit up because, well, it's for general audience,
Yeah,
not
yeah.
for my audience.
Mm-mm.
So it's a little bit lit up. But for context, I think like the catalyst started with the protest in 17 February 2025.
Mm. And when was that?
Basically,
Oh wait, can you send
wait,
the document over?
yeah, I already sent it on Discord.
Oh, sorry. Hold on, let me just.
Yeah. So.
Do you want me? Can I show it? Can I show this to chat?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, hold on. Ah, okay. Let's show this one first.
I mean, yeah, this document is pretty much lit up because it was made for like general audience.
Right. It's fine. It's fine. We're used to it. We have
You
to
gotta
appeal
do
to
what
the
I gotta
list.
do.
Yeah, that's true. All right. So the Indonesia Gelap was that?
Indonesia Gelap. It's
Gelap,
dark
okay.
Indonesia.
Mm.
Like dark MAGA, dark woke. We have dark Indonesia.
Dark woke. Okay. Dark MAGA. Dark woke. Okay. All right. So can you give us more context to this?
Yeah, so on 7th February 2025, there was basically a huge protest across the nations, protesting against Prabowo Subianto's, our current president, austerity measures.
Right.
In this call, I've mainly focused it to scholarship programs, pay for lecturers, and other many social program initiatives. But in reality, it affects like a lot of people. Prabowo's austerity program basically caused one of the biggest layoffs in the public servant sector, and this before the whole Dodge shit show. So we were basically ahead. We were basically ahead. This is basically what Elon Musk wish he can do.
Yeah, right. You guys pioneered.
Like just at will fire
like
public
all
servants with
the
like
right wingers' wet dream is like Indonesia has done it all. Damn.
yeah,
Fuck,
already
man.
done it all.
Holy shit.
And a lot of people speculated back at the time that this austerity measures is to fund the free school lunch program, but turns out in reality, it's to fund a sovereign wealth fund.
A what?
And this was wave one of the austerity measures.
A sovereign what?
Yeah, a sovereign wealth fund,
Wealth?
Danantara Indonesia. So yeah, sovereign wealth fund.
Okay, what does that mean? Like, what is it for?
It's to attract foreign investors to Indonesia.
Oh.
So they are consolidating capital. Like I may even call it as like one of the biggest wealth transfer from the working class to the capitalist class in Indonesian history.
Oh man.
Because what happened during these protests on February last February was only the beginning. Like even Prabowo said himself that this is the wave one of my austerity measures.
Man.
I want to do 3 waves of austerity measures in total of wealth transfer of 700 trillion rupiah.
Who will be left after? Like, what are they thinking?
They don't.
They don't. Okay, Aaron. Fair enough. They don't think.
They don't think.
Yeah.
Like the protest takes place across the nations, but unfortunately and almost like predictable at this point, the protests in Wamena, West Papua, there were allegedly live ammunition were used against the students. Because of course, the protesters and the students in Papua always got the harsher, worser end of the stick.
Fucking man, what the hell? That is. I don't understand why they would do this and then be like, oh, okay, like nobody can afford anything anymore. So like money is not circulating anymore. Of course, bitch, you took all the money. What the fuck did you think?
Yeah.
Under a system where it's necessary for people to spend money and spend what money with whom? Whose money, man? Where is the money?
And it's even worse considering all of these layoffs happen like just in time for Ramadan, where usually people spend a little bit more. So like,
yeah, it's
situations were
like cultural celebration. What the fuck? Oh, this is diabolical. Doing it during the Ramadan too. I think
Yeah.
what makes him think that that it's in accordance to Islam. Like, are they like how what? What the
Yeah,
fuck?
but Prabowo has big ambitions. That's gonna be the theme about why the protest happened, because this man, Suharto's son-in-law, has ambitions to surpass his father-in-law.
That's just some daddy issues. What the hell? He has
Yeah,
some severe daddy
he
issues. Like,
has
he
daddy
should
issues.
take it to his
But it's not
therapist,
even his
not take it
dad.
out
It's
on
not
a
even his
fucking
dad.
country, man. What the fuck?
That's kind of the insane thing. It's not even his dad.
Yeah, right? How do you have daddy
Like,
issues
Harvey
on
is
your
his father-in-law.
father-in-law?
Like,
Ex-father-in-law. Oh
imagine
my
having
god.
daddy issues
On
for your
on
father-in-law.
Imagine, I can't even imagine have like, people with daddy issues already. Like, imagine this with like a fucking father-in-law. Like, how do you have daddy issues with your father-in-law, bitch? Ex-father-in-law at that.
Oh yeah,
Right?
yeah, but yeah, as one of the shadows pointed, he also has daddy issues with his real dad,
Oh,
because his
really?
real dad does not really approve of him being like
A
a
bitch?
military guy.
Okay.
Sumitro, I forget his full name. Sumitro was like an economist, and when his son joined the military, is basically like, son, I'm disappointed to the why you're not becoming a fucking banker.
Ah, okay. Yeah, why are you not making us money? So now he's making them money, but in a different way by
Yeah,
robbing the entire
yeah,
population of Indonesia. Okay. All right. Gotcha.
yep,
Gotcha.
yeah.
Daddy issues to his
That-
in-laws is crazy. Yeah, I know, right? Bro.
Yeah. And also, as one of the
Oh,
chatters point
fuck.
out, like one of the financial advisors in Indonesia's sovereign wealth fund
Mm.
is Thaksin Shinawatra, the former Thai prime minister that is in exile because he had a
Mm.
massive corruption scandal. So,
What?
yay!
Yeah. What a
We live in
surprise. What a
Turns out
fucking
fascists always sticks
surprise.
together.
Yeah.
Turns out corrupt fascists sticks together. What a surprise!
Yeah, birds of the same feather, huh? Massive corruption scandal? What a shocker. Yeah. What the hell? This is so embarrassing. I'm getting secondhand embarrassment from that guy just having like, oh, I want to surpass my ex-father-in-law. This is so embarrassing for you, dude. Daddy issues
Yeah.
not a 101, but not even a father. I must fucking say uncle. Uncle issues. I mean, technically
So
father-in-law, right?
I took my headphones 2 seconds and started politics turned into family stuff somehow. That's basically Indonesian politics. It's all family.
Yeah.
It's all a small circle of elites and
Oh,
capitalists,
it's
and
just
you're not invited.
nepotism, right? It's basically
It's
nepotism. A big network of
yeah, like
nepotism.
big network of nepotism. Like one of the parties, like Partai Demokrasi Indonesia Perjuangan, the Indonesian Democratic Party of Struggle, is headed by Sukarno's daughter. So
All right. Okay. Yeah. Clearly they're not like, they were not nepo hires. For sure. They got
yeah,
there
totally
through
not
their
nepo
own
hires.
they got there truly from their own hard work, cuz
Yeah,
they're they're the best family. They're basically doing what Trump is doing though. Like,
yeah.
he is just hiring like
Basically,
everybody is like, his
and
friends,
I feel
his
like that's yeah.
family are just cabinet members and shit.
And I feel like that's basically the end goal of like a modern fascism, is like making the in group so small. It's basically a family. Like if you're part of the family, if you're not part of the familial elite, you will not be involved in politics, or you will be suppressed or like oppressed, basically.
Ah, okay. Same as India. Yeah,
So
that's true. One more reason to abolish the nuclear. Exactly. Yeah. And also, like, family structures will be different under communism. It's not gonna be like how it is now.
yeah,
Because there's no more drive to like pass on generational wealth. Basically, the nuclear family was created because you need to have heirs, right? To
yeah,
pass on your generational wealth. Like, well, if we abolish class society in the first place, you don't need to. Nobody has to inherit anything. Like everything, like the next generation will inherit everything from the previous generation, not just for a select few, you know. So that at least that's the goal. Indonesian politics in general is a very frustrating flavor of mortifyingly angering because of how soap opera esque it is. Yeah. Like this shit should not be real, yet it is. I know, right? It like how do you murder so many people just for your daddy issues? Like I don't get it, you know?
Well, that's a terrifying part of all of this. Like all of this fascism, all this backward sliding to authoritarianism is stems from a daddy issue.
Right, and people cry about the DPRK being like a dictatorship. What do you mean? People there do not even have to pay rent. Like, do you understand that people are like they can switch careers and the state will the state will fund their education to switch careers, you know? Because humans are not meant, we have neuroplasticity in for this reason. We're not supposed to just work the same job for the rest of our fucking lives. Our preferences over time would change, and so will something that we want to do would also change. That's why people are allowed to change jobs, and they were, you know, like, yeah, okay, if you don't want to be a diplomat anymore, you want to be a fucking teacher, okay, educate yourself to be a teacher then. That's what it is in the DPRK, and I have friends who went there too, and man, people are they can just like, you know, they have free healthcare, they have their education too. They don't have to pay rent. What the fuck? And we're out here breaking our backs to fucking make ends meet. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Exactly.
Some of us have to work 2 jobs to be able to pay rent. The fuck?
So one of your chatters asked, like, I saw a video of what looks like an infiltrated cop dressed like a protester being beat up and pulling out a gun. What's up with that? Yes, because in Indonesia, we have freedom of protesting. Like any civilized nations, you have to your protests can only legally be allowed up until 5 p.m. So
What?
there's no such thing as like sitting like in the campus in America where like students protesting like by camping out or sitting in campus all day or all night. That's not a thing. That's not a thing in Indonesia. Some people have tried, some organizations have tried. It's not possible. The cops gonna send people to beat you up, or like they're gonna beat you up. The cops gonna beat you up, or they're gonna send yet again organizations to beat you up. Yeah, there's a time limit for protest, and if you're protesting in like strategic or like important to the national security locations, there are designated spots. Like you cannot just go protest in front of the presidential palace and gather like thousands of people. That's straight up not happening. The roads leading to the presidential palace will be barricaded to hell with basically everything. They're gonna throw everything at you. The police force, the special ops, the military.
Holy shit, man.
They're
What the hell?
gonna throw at you anything. So like when people say Indonesia is a democracy and like, well, they have freedom of speech. It's a freedom of speech with like certain terms of conditions that is like highly specific and designed in a way to make sure like if like there's a police brutality happening or the protesters are being beaten up, the Indonesian government can basically claim they are not accountable to that because, well, it's not the cops, it's public organizations who are beating up the protesters. It's because the people hate these protests. It disrupts the economy. That's basically how they do it.
After 5 to 6 p.m., the cops are going on the offensive? That's crazy.
Yeah. And coincidentally enough, the mainstream media always cover the protests during that time period and then make news like the protests are like, they're violent. No, it's the cops that are violent.
The what?
Yeah.
Fucking hell, man. That is so wild that it's even happening in the first place. That it's just, to me, I can't like, you know, from someone living in Japan, right? Like I just can't imagine having to deal with that situation. Like it's very scary. Like, not gonna lie, like what the hell?
Yeah,
How are you guys
that's
protecting yourselves? Like, do you even have the means to protect yourself should anything happen?
I mean, right? These days the protests are like a much more well equipped. Like we literally have to copy basically Hong Kong protester strategy, like using gas masks, bringing
Ah,
like shields, umbrellas, all that kind of stuff.
man.
Basically, we have like we basically have to learn from other countries on like how they
Yeah,
do
yeah, yeah.
their
And
protests because
how to counter do like the to counter all
yeah,
those offensive.
because the police, especially recently, are getting more increasingly violent.
I
Like
bet
they're basically given the green light by the state to
I
like
have a feeling
go
that
go
they're
nuts.
also like I mean, I'm not going to be surprised if the Indonesian police are trained by Israelis, by the IDF.
Uh, fun fact: the
Mm.
Indonesia does not have diplomatic relations with Israel,
Oh, really?
but but yeah, we don't have, but we definitely imported weapon parts
From
from
Israel. Of
Israel.
course. Yeah,
Like
okay.
some of the
There you go.
Pindad weapons have stock that
Yeah.
are manufactured in Israel. We also have like military drones that are manufactured in Israel for
Yeah.
some reason.
Elbit systems, yeah.
The
Yeah.
police also have surveillance tools made by the Israeli Pegasus
Yeah,
group.
because basically Gaza is a testing ground for all the warfare that's going on around the world. That's why.
Yeah,
Fucking
yeah.
hell.
So basically,
There's
that's
no.
that's
I can't even articulate how much I hate that country. Like that fake ass. It's not even a real country. What the fuck?
yeah, yeah, and that's basically it
Fake
also
ass.
showed the Indonesian hypocrisy. Like we say, like we support the Palestinian liberation, like
Right?
our government says that, but they do backroom dealings to get the same weapons, the same surveillance tools, the same hacking tools that are currently being used against Palestinians.
Yep. Yeah, because Palestinians, Gaza is a testing ground for that. For every technology that's been tested on Indonesian protesters from Israel has been tested on Palestinians.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it sucks. This is why like all the struggles are connected around the world. You know, just like
yeah,
when someone says like okay, like I don't really support like whatever is Palestine is doing because you know I'm more concerned about like LGBT rights and stuff like that. What the fuck do you mean? It also affects you. You know,
yeah.
like
There's
like
nothing stopping your government from buying Israeli softwares and tools to surveil on you. Like that's already happening
exactly.
in Indonesia as we speak. Like I forget to find the footage video, but like there are like footage of protesters like going just entering the area of protest. Suddenly there are multiple attempts to breach and hack their WhatsApp accounts, which means like the cops planted like a hacking device or something within the area.
Someone in the chat says I'm late. Did you guys talk about the police that beat up women and medic? What?
Yeah, yeah, we gotta talk about that because basically that's that's
Damn.
that's a little bit further. But yeah, so the
Can we
protest
like move
starts
forward to
around
this
yeah,
the call to international journalists?
yeah. So basically, this was still a little bit lit up
Yeah,
protest.
which one?
Basically,
Which
it's
one would
against
you want me
austerity
to show
measures.
chat? Like this one?
There are the key demands. There are like just scroll down. There are like
This one?
six key demands.
Okay.
Yeah, police reforms. So like this one is one of the key demands because
For the
just
protests.
uh, it's still recent, but a 16-year-old student from Semarang was killed due to police brutality. First in power, Gama Rizky Nanta Oktavandi. The cops suspected him
This
to
one?
be like a gang member and then basically did an extrajudicial killing.
Fuck, man. It's
And when the media
unsurprisingly.
reported on it, the police tried to intimidate and harass Gama's family
Ain't no fucking way.
to silence. And they came up with like extremely convoluted reasons like, you see, our cops killing this kid is justified because
16,
he
man.
carry
What the
weapons
hell?
and stuff like that. And they're basically lying.
He's
They're lying
only
through their teeth.
16. Holy fuck.
Yeah.
He was also just
16.
framed. He didn't even commit it. What the hell?
Yeah. He was just like driving home after like, if I recall correctly, practicing for his extracurricular activities.
Did he have this? Did he somehow have like any kind of like connection to, or he, or was he
No,
just like at the
no,
wrong
he's
place at
just
the
like
wrong
he's
time?
at the wrong place at the wrong time.
Oh
He's
damn,
like
that
a
is
model student.
what the fuck? What did the police do? Like what the hell?
They just shot him.
For
And
no
to
reason
make
at
matters worse,
all?
Indonesian, yeah, like, because like, hey, he looks like a suspected gang member. Let's chase him, and then they chase him, and then they shot him.
Oh, what the fuck? Because he just looked like it. They were not even sure if
Yeah, he
he
just
was
looked
it.
like it.
No
Yeah, he
way,
just looked like
dude.
it.
Oh my god, what the fuck? Yeah.
Yeah, so
And
basically one of the demands
the
was
police
police
acted
reform.
with impunity. That's it. Like they just like, oh well,
Yeah,
sorry, my bad, but like they
no
wanted to cover
impunity,
it
and
up, so they framed him to be doing something, even though he didn't do anything at all.
yeah, and then when the public does not believe that, they just
Of
like
course
harass
not.
the family
Of
and
course not.
harass the school and harass his friends
The
because
school?
apparently, yeah, the school.
Jesus.
Like we Indonesian cops, we don't have body cams. Like that's one thing you need to understand. We don't have body cams.
Right.
We don't have an accountability system. So basically, if the cops fucked up on this level, they're just gonna do what they do best: intimidate all the people that is like related to the victim.
So there's no sense of any accountability whatsoever, even if they
Yeah,
fucked up themselves.
yeah,
That is diabolical.
yeah. So the
Jesus.
public demands for accountability and to eliminate police impunity.
Right.
This will came up later, and we are also talking about like how the Indonesian government is like screwing up a lot of the regulations regarding energy and its distribution and production. Like one of the piece of law that is like being opposed but unfortunately passed is RUU Minerba, or like revisions to the Minerals and Energy Act, energy bill, because it allows, the so-called organizations that we have talked before to obtain mining rights.
Oh, okay.
So basically, it's a legalized way from the government to bribe a lot of organizations. Like religious organizations can get mining rights. Universities can
You
get mining rights. Also, that like
what? Okay,
they try
that's
to pass a section that
ridiculous.
basically, yeah, university can get mining rights. That totally will not cause conflict of interest.
Nah, totally no, no.
Yeah,
That'll be fine. That'll be
that'll be
fine.
fine. Yeah, religious organizations are allowed to have mining grants, but so far the only, and I'm disappointed a little bit that the organizations that have taken up on that offer is like the Islamic organizations. The Catholics like reject it
How
entirely
about like
because like, no,
you guys have like indigenous tribes that usually like the mining areas are protected by like like are within the areas of some indigenous people's lands, like in South America
oh
and
yeah,
probably in the Philippines.
we deregulate that piece of law with revisions with the Jobs Creation Act. Which
Yeah.
is kind of ironic, isn't it? Like the name is like UU Cipta Kerja, it's Jobs Creation Act, and
Jobs
it's
creation.
basically Jobs Creation Act, and it's the biggest deregulations in Indonesian history. We're talking about deregulating workers' rights, deregulating indigenous people's rights, deregulating building safety codes,
Fuck.
deregulating
Building
disability
safety
accommodations.
codes. So basically, if a building is not, or a factory is not following the building code, they can get away with it. What the hell?
Yeah, and they can get away with it now legally. I mean, they have been getting away with it for a long time, but now they can
Damn.
get away with it legally.
Yo, this is just, what are they
And
doing to
it
the people? Like what?
and there were massive protests. This was during COVID, like 2020, like a massive protest everywhere, but the government just rammed through it. And then we tried to challenge it in the constitutional court. Constitutional court say like this piece of law is flawed and need to be revised. Basically, the Indonesian government pulls a UNO reverse card and make an executive order that says, "Hey, this executive order is basically the Jobs Creation Act, and it's legal now."
Whoa, what the fuck? Someone in the
Yeah.
chat, let's mine for Jesus. Let's mine
Yeah,
for.
the good thing, the good thing is like at least one of the good things.
Oh god.
Other religious organizations like outright reject the offer, like the Catholics reject it because, well, that's against what the Pope has ordered us to do. So no, we're not gonna open minds.
Right.
So at least there's that. It's like good job, Catholics.
That is fucking insane behavior. Like this, I don't get it. Like austerity measures implemented so far have already cut. Yeah, damn.
Yeah.
Future
How about
threats by
operations of
these
tourist-
austerity measures could jeopardize the funding and operation of various local welfare policies and government scholarships for underprivileged students. This is a critical point we wish to emphasize further in the doc. Okay, so number 4.
Number 4, tackle budgetary concerns for the pay of teachers, lecturers, and civil servants. Yeah, these austerity measures will impact government employees, especially teachers, lecturers, and civil servants. Like a lot of people are deemed non-essential, and
Deemed non-essential. Okay.
essential, yeah, deemed non-essential. And
Bro.
many lecturers in Indonesia, especially in public universities, have not received their salary since 2020.
No, what the hell?
And basically the government refused to address the back pay issue. Like they straight up say,
No,
no, we
that's-
cannot do back pay
that's
because the document
robbery. Holy
made by the
fuck, that's
previous ministry
theft.
is not legally binding. So we
Oh
cannot
my
we can
God.
just not pay them.
No fucking way. But they have to keep on working. For what money?
Yeah.
For what? What?
No money.
No
Basically,
money.
a lot of
How are they
lecturers
gonna
in
eat?
Indonesia
How are they gonna
usually
sustain
have
themselves?
a lot of lecturers in Indonesia basically have second jobs. Either like they're running a small business or they become like consultants for like big government projects. That's how they make money.
My God. This is insane, man.
No, Krisma, I think it was not token. I remember specifically it's about the pay. Like it's not about the workers, like the special benefits, but like the basic base pay that is not being paid.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Which is ironic. Like while lecturers and teachers have not been paid since 2020 and the government is refusing back pay, the average salary of an Indonesian's House of Representatives is unattainable for like 90% of Indonesians. We're talking about a lot of benefits.
This is insane.
Like way a lot of benefits.
Whoa. Members also failed to pay teachers.
Why would they even work then? Well, Amu, in Indonesia, we basically there's a I'm gonna call it a propaganda. Basically, there's a saying that guru adalah pahlawan tanpa tanda jasa. Teachers are heroes without any recognition. So basically, the government
I
is trying to
believe that too,
justify
though.
not paying teachers, not paying lecturers because, well, you're the vanguard, you're the hero of this nation. You should do this teaching stuff without any recognition.
Fuck that! Hey, no, fuck no. What do you mean? Are you saying you want free shit? You want free labor? What are you, some communist, huh? You freeloader bitch? What the fuck? Hearing this makes me feel like Indonesia is the most populous, irrelevant country in the world. No, oh my God.
Yeah, teachers are heroes. All more reason to pay them. That's your being logical. And yeah, we don't do logic here. Teachers are heroes, and heroes can work for free, right?
Right? I think
It's also lyrics from the Indonesian teachers hymn. Yes, it's basically a distilled propaganda for decades at this point that teachers are heroes and they should expect to work with little to no recognition.
someone in your chat says, at least Japan and Korea have lots of worker protections. Worker protections without syndicalist militancy are privileges afforded by the state. Yeah. They would rather live as a hermit somewhere in buttfuck nowhere at this rate. That's true. Dude, yeah. What the fuck?
Then
Teachers
the
are-
government should be heroes and work for free. Well, no.
Yeah, they should work
No.
for free. They should not accumulate wealth. Fuck them. They should
Yeah,
not
the
have
pay and
salaries.
benefits. The pay and benefits of your average Indonesian politicians includes like benefits if you have a spouse, benefits if you are a child,
What?
benefits of your like job title. You got free bags of rice and meat and eggs. You don't have to pay
No,
taxes.
what the hell?
You got
Wait,
like
hold up. What? No, excuse me? No taxes?
yeah, they don't have to pay taxes. The government pays their
what?
taxes.
Fuck no. What the hell is
They
that?
don't have to pay taxes. They got like additional pay if they have
Bro.
assistants. They get additional pay for like
I'm-
communications and transport. They get additional pay for security.
What
They,
is this,
all
bro?
their electricity bills, water bills, phone bills are paid by the government.
This is okay, this is insane. Like they don't pay taxes?
They don't pay taxes.
Even okay, so let's say like a government like a politician has a business too. Is also owns a business.
Oh,
Then
their
his
business paid taxes. Their
Okay, the
business
bus-
paid
okay,
taxes,
alright.
but their job title as a representative, they don't have to pay taxes.
Oh, fuck that. What the hell? That is insane. And this is the first time I've ever heard of this. Like, what? It's legal to do
Yeah.
that.
And because, well, the one who determines the pay is the House representatives themselves. So it's like, yeah, we're just gonna give us
All
a
the money.
lot of money
Yeah,
and benefits.
yeah,
All the
for
money,
real,
all
yeah.
the benefits, and you'll get fucking nothing.
And without them having to pay any taxes at all.
Yeah. Yep.
I thought teachers here weren't paid shit, but at least
And
they get
even
paid,
like
but
saying you're
Indonesian
only
teachers get
last.
nothing, yeah.
Yeah.
At this point,
And
why
what's
are
even funnier-
teachers even there? Like, I think like, I don't know, like, do they not want people to become teachers? What the hell? Nobody would want to be incentivized to become a teacher anymore because like, fuck this bitch. Like, I don't want to starve. What the fuck? What are they gonna do? I just remembered. Hello, Tile. Are you still there? I think Tile disappeared. Hold on, let me reconnect real quick. Yeah, I can't hear his audio. Oh no. Wait, Tile?
Died. I don't know.
Oh,
I'll figure it out.
Oh no, is it? I hope it's not the three-letter.
Hang on, let me.
The
My internet died.
Oh, okay.
For some reason.
For some reason, okay, that sounds.
I need to figure out what is going.
I hope it's not the three-letter
Yeah, that
organization.
sucks. Oh my god. No. Lost. God damn it.
Yeah, I kind of that kind
just
of
internet issues.
made me panic a little bit.
Let me figure out.
Okay.
Let me figure out temporary solutions for now. Shit, where is my? Where is the USB adapter for my cables? Like, do I still have USB cables for my iPhone? Shit.
Is your cybersecurity okay?
No, my cybersecurity is fine.
Okay, that's good.
I
That's
just,
good to
oh
know.
my god, hang on.
Tao's live stream is compromised. Oh no. Oh wait, your stream got God. What the fuck? Migrating here. Okay. So in the Indonesia's public sector, we have two kinds of employment. One is a permanent job. Second is an honorary position, which the structure forced people to be stuck on honorary position. For real? Even if they don't get paid. Indonesia is an open source country for a reason. Okay, Tile stream is offline. I'll stay here. Okay. If anything happens, like, we can just continue our conversation, like, here. Let's hope no one is knocking down his doors. I for fucking sure. Yeah. Like, I'm actually pretty. I actually told Tile, like, are you sure you wanna hop on my? Like,
I'm looking for my adapter.
Okay, it's a technical
I
issue.
think
It's
I
okay.
lost my chat.
Yeah, no, don't worry about it, dude.
Chat. I'm looking for my like USB-B adapter. It's not in the car.
Okay. Because I mean, I'm glad it's just a technical difficulty because I don't want it to be like somebody knocking on his door or something. Hackers who stole data from Indonesia literally at one point just give the data back because of how shitty our cybersecurity is. Yeah, that shit that shit is dismal. Honorary position got paid, but with minuscule pay and little to no benefit. Oh, damn. I don't think you can feature a banned Twitch streamer on stream. Wait, Creamy, he got banned? I don't think so.
Oh my god. And
Oh, no,
we
no,
are
it's
live,
not. It's
ladies
not.
and
It's
gentlemen.
not.
Bisa
It's
langsung
not.
balik lagi sama gue Roko Political Fitty Princess Amin dan Desuya. Dan bentar gue, I need to make the blast off tweet as usual. Protes.
Oh, it's an internet issue. It's a connection. It's a technical issue, thankfully. Not the other kind of issue. Hacking the mainframe.
Oh my god.
Those honorary teachers can be paid as little as $10 a month. Who
Ya,
fucking
selamat
lives?
hari Lebaran buat yang sempat merayakan Lebaran. The chat will be merged, so behave. How are you holding up, Tal? Jujur walaupun gue seminggu libur, I'm not having the most comfortable holiday.
Oh yeah, okay. He's back, I think. Wait, is it a replay? Wait, what am I watching? He's not back yet. Oh, for real? Okay, it was okay. Because I was looking at his channel. It was just replaying the beginning. Shit. I thought it was back. The fuck. Tile is still out of commission. Admin1234 is literally a government password at one point. What the hell? If a stream with only 110 viewers gets him deposed on Twitch by the government, then that's absolutely scary. Yeah, that is extremely scary. Our government not that savvy to breach a Twitch. Okay. Twitch hasn't played yet. Okay. Twitch is not big here, so it's very nice. It's very nice. The markets are dominated by YouTube and TikTok. That's how you know only boomers are part of the government. Yeah. What the fuck? $10 for like a teaching position a month. What can you buy with $10 in Indonesia? I don't believe that's a living wage at all. Anywhere in the world. Does that even buy you anything? Like a fucking burger? Did Tal already talk about how military is starting to breach universities and put them on a leash? Not yet. He's gonna be like we're going through the premise of like the demands of the protesters first. For teachers specifically, you start out on honorary position, have to pay for like a national qualification exam to be a legit public servant.
I'm back. Thank God.
Hello.
I'm using my mobile data.
Oh wait, but you're not on stream anymore, or are you back on stream?
Let me Do I have to like stop and restart again? Yes, screw it. I'm gonna stop and start again.
I don't. Yeah, as long as.
Another too many concurrent sessions. Try to closing. I mean, it worked, but it's really slow, and I have a lot of drop frames. So like, screw it. It's okay. It
Yeah,
takes
okay.
time for this internet to stabilize.
Are you? Do you want me to
Okay,
invite
I
you
think
again?
it's.
To my. I will
Yeah,
invite
sure.
your.
And this sucks. Hang on, I gotta keep a close eye on my. Damn it, please not fix your shit, man. Oh yeah, I don't know. Is the share child still active? Hello.
I think I need. I
Oh,
had
do I
to.
have to get invited again?
I think I invited you
Invite
again.
me again.
Yeah. Hold on. Let me do it again. And then we can.
Oh no,
Probably...
I think it worked because
It
you're
did?
chugging along. Yeah, I think it worked.
Oh, for real?
I think. I don't see the notifications for the invite, so.
Okay. Let me do it again. Oh.
Chat. Okay, I'm in, I think.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Okay,
I think you just need to. Okay.
That
There we
again.
go. Yeah. I started it now. Okay. So our chats are shared again.
All right.
There you go.
Yeah, our chat is shared, but like I think it's best to just like watch from your end because like I'm really having a really bad
Okay. All right. Cool.
stream speed.
Yeah. No worry. No worries.
You know, it's okay if it doesn't stabilize.
They can. Your
We'll fix
chatters
it.
can chat in my chat anyway because we're shared. But they can watch
thank God for
on my
shared chat.
end. Yeah. They can what do you call this? They can watch on my end because my stream is okay. For now. For now. All right, let's continuation.
Yeah, for now. All right, let's continue. Okay, so we
so
already talked about the teacher's pay and like
Yes.
one of the points is
heard-
like the free school lunch output. Like,
Hello? Oh no, he's gone again. Oh no.
hello,
Yes.
hello.
Yeah, you're back.
Okay,
Okay.
I'm back.
Okay, so somebody in the
Yeah, you heard
chat
about-
said that like some teachers were paid like $10 a month. What the fuck?
Yeah. Yep.
What the hell? What can you even eat with that? What can you do with $10? What the hell?
Not a lot. I mean, it's not even living wage in Indonesia.
Right?
It's not even minimum
don't
wage.
believe-
It's
yeah.
not. You cannot even consider that a wage.
What is the minimum wage in Indonesia? Like something that a living wage in Indonesia at the very least.
Living wage, UMR upah minimum regional, the minimum wage is around million rupiah, so that's like around $200-ish, which is like not a lot, but
Is a living wage.
well, Indonesia has a weak currency.
Ah. Damn.
Yeah, we have it's a minimum wage, not living wage. It's a minimum wage.
Minimum
The
wage.
minimum
okay.
wage is like interpolation of like, okay, this is like the acceptable pay. We have, I mean, relative to our currency, we have really high minimum wage due to our strong union participations. It's usually the unions who fought for increase in the minimum wage, not the not the bourgeoisie or like
It's
the
always been
corporate workers. It's always the labor.
Yes, it's always been the union, the left doing the work.
Yeah. Yeah, it's in the market it's correct. $288 is like the highest minimum possible.
And the living wage is double that. Like at least $500 a month?
At least double that. Yeah, $500, $600 you can live somewhat comfortably.
Right. That makes sense.
My stream is just that makes sense. Yeah, but that's basically it. That's the fifth demand is like the optimization of the free school lunch output. And as much as I'm like I support this kind of policy, like this is a really good social program. This is like a socialist policy, but the way it's being rolled out, how our government defends it as creating is reinforcing my fear that a lot of Indonesian people, because remember, we don't really have a leftist movement, we don't really have leftist political party or like socialist political party or like socialist figures. We're gonna turn up libertarian.
Yeah. Libertarian.
So
Like,
that sucks.
yeah, that that kind of sucks. Yeah. Rollout is face
Kinda
myriad of
sucks.
issues can have avoided the power planning, accurate data drive, decision making, clear goal and measurement. Yeah. Said the hasty nationwide rollout is marred by poor quality control, with many schools reporting spoiled food or cross-contaminated
Yep.
meals, leading to cases of food poisoning. The fuck. Additionally, the program has placed a significant budgetary strain on the government. Even the new head of Badan Gizi National Nutrition Agency, Dadan Hindayana,
Dan
stated
Hindayan.
in October 2024 that the program cost 800 million rupiah, $49 per day. Damn, public demands that the government reviews the current implementation of this program rather than continuing to dismiss quality control failures as me. Yeah, why are they doing this in the first? It's not even effective. Children are falling ill due to the lack of proper oversight. The fuck? They should be sued.
Yeah, but but we don't have a class action lawsuit. That's one of the unfortunate
That
things.
sucks.
And also, like the government says, like, nah, it's just a statistical error. You know, just one or two kids getting food poisoning. It's not a
hell
big
no.
deal. It's not even 1% in the statistic. We'll be fine. And
Child is
I
just
did
a
not mention
statistic
this
to them.
in the call back then, and I wish I had that, but this was the one of the first where the military and the state police are involved in what is supposed to be a public program. Like this is one of their first like reach into like the civil sector. I wish I had mentioned that, but there were a lot of shit in the February protest that needs to be
Yeah.
sorted first.
Also, somebody in the chat asked what professions other than teaching is undervalued and underpaid by the government. I think they mentioned like people that are deemed non-essential or like security guards and like janitors, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What other professions are severely undermined?
Severely undermined a lot. Basically, all of professions in Indonesia, due the passing of the Jobs Creation Act, is severely undermined. It basically allows companies to basically
Lowball everyone.
perpetually put you as independent contractors and lowball your pay.
Oh, bro, what the fuck? With no protection from
Yeah,
labor laws.
no protection whatsoever, because before that law was passed, the basically Indonesia is like, okay, if you're already like independent contractor for like 2 to 3 years, the company you work for has to make you a full-time employee.
Fuck.
Now we just basically say, nah, screw that, you can be an independent contractor for the rest of your life.
What the
No
hell?
protections, no
way.
severance.
Yeah, that's it's also very precarious because like they can just fire you anytime. Because
Basically
there's no
making
like,
Indonesia an at-will employment state.
bro, what the fuck? They literally like took that labor reserve concept to heart, huh? Doctor without any specials. Basically, all government positions for one. They're not being paid according to labor law, but there is another law that has not been updated since 2009. For real?
Yep.
Problem is not hunger of the people. It is
brutal.
insatiability of people ruling over them. Yeah, that is true. Yeah. Get a job out of Nasha because fucking hell, there's an age limit and it's 25. What?
Are like, we don't, again, I have to emphasize, we don't have workers protection. That means age discrimination is a perfectly legal thing to do in Indonesia. If you like open job listings in Indonesia, you like see like a maximum age for like entry level position is 25.
What the hell?
If you're older than 25 years old and you need like an entry level jobs, you're basically fucked.
Oh my god. Yeah. That is messed up. Holy shit.
There's a lot of classism, ageism in Indonesians recruitment, Indonesians working recruitment process, and it's extremely humiliating. Like there are a lot of stuffs that like should have been illegal, but somehow it's legal. Like
Yeah.
the maximum age being 25 for a lot of entry level positions, for example. So like if you want to switch careers, you're screwed.
Yeah. Somebody says basically the whole country is nothing more than a world's biggest company town after the USSR. And according to the Constitutional Court, the age discrimination is not a discrimination. Okay. You can have model qualification.
They try to argue like
position. Yeah. What the fuck? My mod asked. I gotta ask. What are you peeps planning to do?
there are more protests planned at least after like starting tomorrow. More protests are being planned, and I don't think the protest is gonna stop. The question is whether or not we can get this movement rolling into something much bigger, because not only we are preparing to do more protests, the government is also preparing to do even more fuck up stuff. For example, the revisions to the National Police Bill or RUU Polri is being fast tracked as we speak. RUU Kuhap or the revisions to the Indonesian Penal Code is also being fast tracked as we speak, and it's gonna make, remember the earliest bits of the law about the communism, Marxism, Leninism that I just talked. They're gonna make it worse.
What?
They're gonna make it worse. They're fast tracking. They are fast tracking that. They're also fast tracking. We're talking about basically
death penalty.
Any ideology, like not even like this communist Marxism, but like any ideology that is like does not fit within the Pancasila framework. The current nation ideology.
Basically any opposition.
So basically any opposition.
Any form
so
of
like
dissent,
even
regardless of its nature.
They're gonna go against
illegal.
the libs. Yeah. Like even if you're like a typical libs, you're libbed up. Congratulations, you too are impacted by the. It's a procedural law. Sorry, it's a procedural, not penal code. Congratulations, you are affected by that too.
Yeah, what the fuck? Why do you even need so much money? What are you going to do when yeah, exactly. Why do they need so much money? I don't get it. And like what, over like corpses of so many, like millions of people. Okay, so you got the money now. Now what? What are you gonna do with that? The fuck? I don't understand like
so
their greed. Like I don't understand that. Like I'm not sure like why people are even doing this.
Yeah, that's one part that I'm still confused. Like, what is the motivating
they're filling a big, like they're filling a void that's not even, it's insatiable. You can't fucking, you can't like fill a big fucking void. And that's like a fucking dragon disease, man. Dragon sickness, rather.
Yeah.
Just accumulate, and kill everyone.
That's why I believe.
There is a loophole. We can
it's
make
almost a mental disease.
Pancasila 2.
We can make a sequel. Yeah, that's basically
hell,
my assessment is that we're adding into an actual fascism, but like
I mean, it already
it
is. It
should serve as a warning.
But they're gonna fast track
it. Already is, basically.
Yeah. I mean, let's be real here. It's already been like that. Like it's. They're just trying to, because the economy is like the global economy is crashing, and it's threatening capital. So they're consolidating power even more, because fascism is there to protect capitalism. They're greedy and aiming for pride.
The last demands
for pride of the 2045, but ain't never for the first 5 years. So what if there's nobody
like they have like this vision of like Indonesia Emas 2045, like a golden age of Indonesia, the Indonesian century.
Yeah, they're not. They can't copy the Chinese. No, it's the Chinese century, bitch. What are you talking about?
We are making the Indonesian century by
with what?
regulating everything, removing rights, going into fascism. That's
Yeah,
how
okay. That's how they
shift the Indonesian
imagine
century.
okay. Bruh.
Yeah,
Well, on top of
that's how they
corpses
imagine
of
it.
millions of people, I guess. How are they so proud of this? I don't
And
get it, man. What is their plan? What
nationalism.
is their plan to
It's
just like rule everything forever over like what are they going to
yeah.
rule after this? Corpses? What the fuck?
One thing that a lot of I think this is gonna happen with the American tech industry is that they want to become little feudal lords. A lot of Indonesian politicians, businessmen, they want to become their own little feudal lords.
Okay, so reject modernity, go back to feudalism, I guess.
Yeah, but without the king titles, like they want to be all the little kings. Like I want to
Oh
be the
my
king
god.
of the mining industry. Like the mining industry is all mine. For example, like what is going on with how these deregulations are benefiting one of Indonesia's politicians, Luhut Bin Sarpanjaitan, because he is the biggest owner, the capital owner of the mining industry in Indonesia.
My god. Mana clearly isn't thinking
That's
big.
just one industry. Basically, the plan for like the Prabowo's administration and all the capitalists around him is that they want to be the little kings of the sector they want to be in.
Where are our katanas, my queen? Water will be a commodity, mana. That the Indonesian century is real. Okay. Okay. Bro.
And I'm
I
already
don't.
seeing the signs of that, at least in America, with how like Mark Zuckerberg he wants to be the little kings of the internet, or Jeff Bezos
Yeah,
wants to be the little kings
that's
of
I
online
think the
shopping.
concept of techno feudalism by Varoufakis. Yanis
Yanis
Varoufakis,
Varoufakis.
yeah.
Yeah.
My god.
Well, the
We're like
Americans have techno feudalism. We just have capitalist feudalism.
yeah. That is even
It's
worse.
basically any and all industry sector.
Yeah. A socialist core would be beneficial for the movement. The government can splinter the movement easily when there is no united ideological focus, as there are hyper-conservatives,
exactly.
libs, and leftists. Yeah. Like the thing is, yeah, for movements
that's
that don't really have a
basically-
vanguard party, it doesn't usually work out. It will fizzle out because there's no unifying theme, unifying,
Yeah.
course of action and guiding principles. That's just really impossible to make anything effective and efficient if there's no like a vanguard party. If it's not led by a communist party, then it's fucking cooked. I guess I know, but who knows?
Yeah.
We'll never know.
I mean,
right?
we do have Labor Party. We have a Labor Party, but my relationship with the Labor Party is complex. Most of the Indonesians with Labor Party is complex.
Oh, yeah?
Like they're really smart. Like, okay, I guess we have to talk. Like the cost of owning a political party in Indonesia is basically unattainable if you are like a working class. Like you have to have office in each province,
What?
and you have to own the building.
For real? You can't.
So it's literally impossible. If I want to make, if, for example, if I want to make a leftist party in my region, it's literally impossible. I have to open offices. I have to own the buildings in each of 34 Indonesian provinces. I have to
That is
pay
stupid.
people to become staff of said buildings
the
and
hell?
regional leaders. I don't have, like, unless you're a capitalist, you don't have the resources to pull
yeah.
off a political party. Yeah. And so the Labor Party idea was basically, what if we have all of these trade unions in Indonesia, across of Indonesia? What if we all form into a single political party?
Yeah.
Which is like a really smart strategy, but
Yeah.
also Said Iqbal is an opportunist, unfortunately. Like who's the union guy in Disco Elysium? Like Effort,
Yeah. It's been
I
a while
forgot his
since
name.
yeah.
Like the one who's
The
promised to
union guy.
help
Yeah.
you find your gun. Yeah, that's basically
Disco
Said
Elysium.
Iqbal. That's basically our labor political leader.
I played it
Yeah.
like 2 years ago.
It's
I
Mr.
forgot
Efrat.
how
Yeah,
to-
that's basically
yeah. But there was that annoying
basically
guy.
our-
Basically him.
basically him. What we have is basically him. Like
Okay, that
I
sucks.
applaud Indonesian Labor Party efforts of making a working class representative and candidates. Like a lot of the candidates they pushed in 2024 election are from the working class. We're talking about teachers and drivers. We're talking about labor leaders. So they're it's a good they have good principles, but they're also very opportunist.
That sucks. That really.
They don't
I mean,
really
it's also
stand for
very.
the side of the working class, but they're playing 2 feet. Like they want to be part of the political elite, but at the same time they want to push working class agenda. I think you cannot do both.
Nope, you can't. You can't serve two masters.
Yeah.
And that's what the libs are doing, and it's also very annoying because like we know that it's always gonna be, it's always any movement that the libs touch will always get devoured by capital in the end, you know, and we're back to square one.
Yeah.
Because they don't have any
Talking because
principles,
it's-
they don't have any backbones, they will always capitulate to capital and also to protect their own interests, you know. So that's that.
So that's where we at right now. We don't
Yeah.
have a vanguard party. We don't have a socialist party. Even if
It's
the
so-
people try to make one, I don't think we have the capital to pull it off.
Yeah. With what money, huh?
How
Oh my
class
goodness.
conscious are Indonesian workers in your opinion? I guess one of the good things is that we ended up with a little bit of like our own definition of class consciousness. Like we don't really use the Marxist or like the communist terms, but we
Yeah,
have
yeah,
our own terms.
but-
We have our own terminologies. We develop it our own, but it's still not enough because the main theory is like, banned.
Of course, yeah.
Have semblance of ideas, but it's not the full picture, and that's the.
But at the very least, you can
difficulties
talk
right
about
now.
these terms without getting arrested, you know? At the very
Yeah.
least, yeah. Like the ideas, you can't really kill ideas. Like they can keep on killing people, they can keep on banning ideas, but you never kill an idea, basically. Like it's just it sucks that you guys have to do it this way. And it makes like organizing like a hurdle, essentially. The fact that
Right.
Indonesia is a 28 out of 100 free, which is considered not free, should not be allowed by the government. What? If it honestly, if it isn't radical unionism, then it will be subsumed by capital. Yeah, true. That's why we have an AFL and not international workers. Yeah. Yeah. IWW. There's a swivel by a libertarian
That's one
thinker
thing.
called Hop, titled Democracy, the God That Failed, that describes exactly the model of capitalist feudal lordship that Indonesia is trying to pivot to. Oh, shit. Yeah, I guess you guys are
Oh, boy.
trying to shift to that one. That sucks, man.
And we're trying to prevent the shift. Sucks. And yeah, let's move on to the last point is that land mafia, like there are 48,000 cases of land disputes and 110 agrarian conflicts that happened in 2024 alone, because there are a lot of land disputes where it's basically sided with the capital interest, like for example Dago Elos, where the people have lived in Dago Elos for a really long time, but then
indigenous
there's a
people.
capitalist developer that came in and say, hey, I have this land certificate from the Dutch colonial era that says I own this
Who
land.
gives a shit about the Dutch? Oh, fuck them. Fuck those bitches.
Like, imagine like claiming you own a land based on the piece of paper that is like, I don't know, 300,
That's-
400 years
That's
old
basically
at this
the
point.
Balfour Accord. Like that's the that's what they did to the Palestinians too. Oh, like the our British overlords did like said this, that we can have this land. By whose
Yeah.
authority,
We can
bitch?
have this land.
I hate.
Yeah, and the
this
court
world.
basically sided with the capitalists, and
Yeah.
so the public also demands that the government, act swiftly to, side with the fucking people and not these capitalist mafias who are using old ass certificates.
Certificates. Yeah, because my previous colonizer master said that I own this land now, so therefore you have to hand over the land to me. I fucking hate this shit.
Yeah.
Holy fuck.
Oh, that's
Under the authority of the Queen of England. So, yeah, basically these are the demands.
This is just the February protest.
Mm.
This was just the February protest. It escalated in March after the Indonesian House of Representatives
Right.
tried to basically the speed ran the revisions to the national military bill in
That
secret.
sucks. In secret.
They have laws that basically says like the process of making the law, the legislative process needs to be open and in public, but they use like a legal loophole called consignering. So basically, during they can pass law in secret, in private during these consideration sessions, and that's basically what they did with the RUU TNI or revisions to the National Military Act.
What the fuck?
We tried to stop it. Like literally, there are a lot of public organizations that just like storm to the hotel, try to stop it, but we failed.
Fuck.
So that basically kicked off even more protests.
I just hope that
We are
the
talking about
enthusiasm about the the opposition would actually grow into an actual movement that has like an effective way of like countering the government. But
yeah.
I know we both like I don't know if I can mention it on stream, but we know like which struggle can actually address this. It has to do with the barrel of the gun. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Like Chairman Mao already said that. Like
My greatest fear right now.
Right?
Because the Indonesian Military Act is already passed. It basically expands our nation's military role. Like it allows them to hold political positions. It allows them to hold positions in court. It also finally legally allows for military members to hold business positions in state-owned companies.
No, what the fuck? For real?
Yeah.
Like, okay.
I mean, technically, we have been doing that for a really long time. Like the director of the National Logistics Organization's PT Bulog is a high-ranking military officer.
Oh, it's okay. So they don't really give a fuck about conflicts of interest anymore, huh?
They don't give a fuck
gave a
about
fuck,
conflicts
okay.
of interest.
They never gave a fuck.
They never gave a fuck.
Okay.
Yeah. And it will also see the military's role in maintaining public safety and safeguarding our online spaces, which has been outlined. Like, if you open the document at the very bottom, like, there's a slide from the presentation done by our national military to the House of Representatives.
Which one?
What they want is that they want to be able to do, at the very bottom.
The sources.
Yeah, the sources, there's like one image. Yeah, the slide chart. Like they want to be able to do takedowns to accounts and news in social media and online spaces.
Can you send me the
They
link
want
of
to be able to.
Which one of these links? These are just like links.
This one. Ah, shit. Hang on.
Hold on.
That one. Very bottom. There is an image.
At the bottom? It's like page
The
7. The bottom of this one
Yeah,
is
wait.
a call to journalists or the other one?
Page 9. Oh no, the opening statement.
the
Yeah, the
opening
other one.
statement, okay.
Page 9.
Page 9. Ah,
I mean, it's pretty small, but I can help to translate it. They want to be able to do censorship and takedowns towards accounts and news in online spaces. They want to be able to do contra opinion operations. Like they want to flood the internet using generative AI.
What?
Pro government content.
Ew.
Yeah, that's basically what they want to do. And now they have the law to do that. And not to mention, we are also talking about, as we speak right now, a lot of the members of the military are trying to breach into our campuses, like forcing them to sign a deal where the military forces is allowed to hold seminars and train our students because in the accordance to the national security.
Right.
So they are encroaching student spaces too because they know students will oppose their agenda.
Damn. Okay.
So
So they're doing
so
everything
this
to
is
really like
basically
protect
past.
their ass.
They're
Yeah.
doing everything now. Not
Damn.
only protect their ass, but because the military is now allowed to mingle with capital interests, that means they will serve the capital, not the people
Of
anymore.
course they. Yeah. I mean, have they actually served the people at all in the first place? I don't think so.
Yeah,
Right? Like, have you
yeah,
ever
that's
felt
that's
that
true. But no, they have the legal reasons to not serve the people and serve the capital interest.
now they have now they made it legal to like not give a fuck about the people. But back then they were like under a pretense of like, oh yeah, maybe we are, but like in rounds like we don't give a fuck, bitch. Like it's just straight up
We don't
like
give a fuck
lie.
enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can't give a fuck anymore.
They never
And
have, never
there you
will, I
can
guess.
never have, never will. And this is just like the beginning, honestly. There's still more piece of law to come. And it's already getting worse because like when the military like they try to, like when they see people putting up posters for free Palestine, they question those people, which is like, yeah, of course, fascism will stick together and like
Yeah,
interrogate people
fascists
who
will
are putting
always.
posters for free Palestine.
Yeah, that's how like yeah, that's what the Nazis did back in the 1930s. Like they consolidated power and they all banded together to have a like a unified coalition of their goals, to advance the Aryan
Yeah.
the Aryan race, I guess. Libertarian ideology has a way more idiotic justification than that claim. Ah. In a protest, a lot of people here makes generative AI about pregnant probo. Okay.
And like a lot of people encountering the
Man.
generative AI being churned out by the police and the state, they just like make generative AIs of our president being pregnant and being gay, which is like I'm not really a fan of, but it apparently pisses them off so much. So
I mean, of course, because they're
whatever.
homophobic, that would be like an insult to their.
Like yeah, I don't like the jokes because like
I
they
mean,
gay,
yeah,
but
yeah.
apparently it pisses off our government enough.
Yeah, but I mean, they are, like they are thin skinned because that's just how fascists are. They're so full of themselves that
Yeah.
it's just like the final boss of narcissism. Fucking people like that, him, like Trump, Elon Musk. These guys are so
Yeah.
insecure. They would see anything that threatens their masculinity as like something that they would want to criminalize. Indonesian
Yeah.
law enforcement is already
And
semi-privatized, and these corpo stars are bribing police, army,
Rubbing
etc. to
police.
harass. Yeah, holy fuck, harass
Yeah,
people in their
it's
land.
already like it's already a thing even before the revisions to the National Military Act was passed. Like it's already a common thing, at least in Indonesia, where like if you're a businessman, you can like pay off the cops, you can pay off the military to guard your land or guard your factories against
Right,
those pesky unions
the
or those
pesky
pesky
union.
indigenous people.
Oh god, I really
So
hate
now
that this is
what we're doing
happening.
basically making it even more legal.
Mm. Oh yeah, so where were we? The moving on to the next topic. Did we finish
Yeah,
the?
moving on. We already finished the call statement, but unless you want to talk about the one of the focus about how it impacts students and their well-being.
Which the call of international journalists, or is? Did we finish that already?
Yeah, call. No, I don't. We haven't finished the last part.
Okay. Yeah. Let's do that in that case. The impact
Let's
on
do
the
that.
students. This one. The planned austerity measures could threaten
Yeah,
KIU. Okay. All right.
so yeah, basically we have KIPKA or Kartu Indonesia Pintar Kuliah. It's basically a social program that provides allowance and tuition fee coverage for approximately 800,000 college students. And the austerity measures could impact approximately 600,000 of them. So like almost 80%, 90%.
Damn.
And that is just how it's gonna impact the students. And because a lot of Indonesian colleges are also still funded by the state, it could also impact the tuition fee because there is no way they can pay lecturers or like pay for their operational if they don't raise student tuition.
Right?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
And that's just like one aspect. That's just like one
They're also
aspect
killing the educational
in the education sector.
Yeah. It's the same thing that Trump is doing though to their Department of Education. What the fuck? They want
Yeah.
people dumb. They want people they want to keep people dumb so that they won't, they won't have any critical thinking skills and would just follow everything that they say, That's how you that's how you make a population docile.
Yep.
Hello, Tile. Tile is also disappearing again.
Yeah, hello.
Hello,
Hi.
Tile.
I'm back. Hello.
Okay. All right, yeah. Moving on. Yeah. What were you
That's basically what happened in February. What happened now, or the past month, or like the previous month or so, is the protest against the RUU TNI or the revisions to the National Military Act, which we have discussed. But now the fight does not, really stop because we still have revisions to the National Police Act and revisions to the Broadcasting Act and revisions to our penal code or like procedural code. And all of them have like a common theme, like restricting speech and journalism, restricting this dissemination of leftist ideas, expanding state power. Like we're actually going to be full-blown fascists at this fucking point if those 3 laws get passed, like legally a fascist country.
Right?
Yeah.
They just legalized fascism. They expedited.
We make fascism legal. Yay!
What joy. Jesus, previously an alliance of lecturers protested that many of their members have not received any pay. Yeah. Since 2022, bro. What the fuck? It's been 5 years, man. The public alleged that the austerity measures are being used to reallocate funds for proposed free lunch school program, and the Minister of Agricultural Coordination Zulkifli Hassan.
Zulkifli Hassan. Bad Hassan.
The bad Hassan, the non-based Hassan.
Bad Hassan. It's also funny because our like
dumbass Hassan.
the communications, the president's communications, who's what they call it in the US, the press secretary and all that kind of stuff.
Yes, yeah.
His name is Hassan Nasbi.
Yeah.
Which is like a misspelling of Hassan. So I like to call him the evil Hassan.
Hassan Nasbi. Yeah. This is Hassan Albi. The evil Hassan. Hassan's evil twin.
Yeah.
Government has allocated 71 trillion
that's basic.
rupiah. Okay. The official government statements continue to contradict one other regarding the reallocation of funds are cut by austerity measures at the 7th Congressional of Partai Gerindra held this January. President Prabowo, Subianto spoke about his plan to reallocate most of the funds that were cut by austerity measures. Damn, okay. Newly formed sovereign wealth fund instead of the free lunch program. Okay, despite the confusion in the Ministry of Finance. Sorry, go on. Sorry, Tile?
Yeah, one piece of the sovereign wealth fund that I did not mention here too is that it gives power for the it gives power to the president to sell any state-owned assets or companies without needing approval.
To privatize any industry.
Yeah, the president can privatize any state-owned companies without needing the approval from the House of Representatives. It's bad. That's like holy shit. That's bad.
They're turning it into like a mini Libya then. Libya is like a fucking shithole now after the death of Gaddafi. After he was murdered. Basically, like they used to have all of these like nationalized industries, and They even have like, you know, like affordable education, healthcare, all that jazz, and then they fucking killed him. Obama killed Gaddafi, by the way. Fucking thanks, Obama. You stupid bitch. His
Yeah.
mom, oh, he also lived in Indonesia before, right? He was a kid.
Yeah, so like he knows. I mean, he was from the affluent area. Like Menteng is like definitely the rich people's area.
Damn.
Like you have to be super duper uber rich to have a
To be,
property in
yeah.
Menteng.
Yeah. And they live there.
President, yeah.
He
So the
likes
president is
he
basically the
likes
CEO of
nasi
Indonesia.
goreng.
Yeah,
Okay. It is happening in Algeria.
yeah.
That
Like when
is
Prabowo like yeah.
dark.
When Obama paraded himself as like, yeah, I was raised in Indonesia. I mean, most Americans or foreigners would probably think, oh, he lives in the dingy part of the country. No, he lives in one of the most
The
affluent and rich
bougie, yeah.
area,
He was bougie. Like he was
the most
born
bougie
bougie.
area
Yeah.
possible.
Ew. He literally painted himself as like, oh, I'm the people's president. Blah 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 blah. Like I'm the minority representative. But no, he's the same. He just had like a fucking the what do you call this, like some um he was just like wearing he's just skin folk. POC skin folk,
Yeah,
because he's basically carrying out the will of the white man, you know. He's still
yeah.
carrying out the will of white supremacy. So fuck Obama, man. What the hell?
I mean,
Fuck that bitch. But anyway, did we finish this already? The
yeah,
public
we finished
response.
I think the call is done basically.
Yeah. Okay. So the opening statement, this one. Let's go back up. Where did we?
Yeah, we already
end?
talked about like bits of the opening statement. I think we left off at the page 3.
Okay. Yeah. Let's talk about the post Jakarta method reality. Oh yeah, you did say like from March 3 to March 29. Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
There are waves of protests erupted the nation almost daily, rejecting the revisions to the Indonesian Military Act, or RU TNI, that will expand the nation's military role. And we already discussed that. It allows them to hold political, court, and business positions in state-owned companies, basically legalizing what has been the common practice now. And it will also oversee military expansion of military's role in public safety and online spaces, which is, bad.
Yeah.
And that's still the beginning. We still have revisions to the National Police Act, which will allow the police to like surveil or like plan evidence on you without like needing court agreement and all that kind of stuff. Basically, even more expansion to the police role within civil society, but more so on the side of the capital. There's revisions to the Broadcasting Act, which will make investigative journalism content straight up illegal.
Yeah, or
Like,
what
you cannot
you do,
do like
political
investigation
commentary.
piece.
Political
Yeah, and
commentaries like you
like
do will also be illegal.
yeah, that be illegal. Talking about the news, if you don't have the license, will also be illegal. So like even if you run like a gaming news channel, that's still a news. So like you have to register, or it's illegal. They're giving like a really broad definition of news. So well, basically everything can be news. Like if you're talking about music, like there's music news that counts as a news.
Yeah.
So you have to register.
No way, dude. That's stupid.
Yeah. That's basically 90% of Indonesian law. Wait, that's stupid. It is. And also revisions to the Indonesian penal code, or like a procedural code, that will also see expansion of like banning basically any ideologies. So, yay.
That shit is dismal. What the fuck?
Yeah, that shit is dismal. And like maybe like one of your chatters gonna figure out, like ask why there's no opposition.
Yeah.
Like I put that on like page 5, which is basically the current coalition of the government. It's basically all parties except one.
Yeah. So that yeah, like let's just refresh on
Literally.
the post-Jakarta method reality. Even after Suharto's downfall in 1990, communism or anything sounded socialist was considered a scary idea to be talked about in public. Junior high and senior high schools across the nation, at least public ones, had yearly mandatory screenings of what's this? Ping.
Pengkhianatan G30 SPKI.
Oh, okay. A film that up until 2005 was the most expensive Indonesian film ever produced.
That
What is it
is
about?
up until 2005 was the most expensive. It's basically Suharto's version of what happened in 1965.
Basically historical
Version of
revisionism.
history.
Okay, all right. Well,
Yeah.
very much
Like,
like here in
hey,
Japan too.
that communist killing is justified because all those commies
They're
they kill
evil.
religious figures,
Yeah.
they kill people in mass, they're evil.
Yeah. When
That's
they're the
basically the
ones that
film.
are doing the evil things. The fourth Indonesian president, Abdurrahman Wahid, presented the idea to nullify it. What is this TAP MPRS? What is this?
It's basically a legally binding resolution from the House of Representatives.
That made the Indonesian
Just a
Communist Party
resolution.
legal organization. Okay. That prohibited the dissemination of Marxist ideology. Wahid, more preferably known as Gustur, presented the idea as the first step towards political reconciliations regarding the atrocities that the Suharto government had committed. Okay, alright. Where's the reparations, though? However, that only made his administration weaker as he started to be besieged politically from all sides, even from the political actors behind Reformasi. To this day, the TAP MPRS was at 1966, remains legally binding and is further reinforced in the Indonesian Penal Code. Where Articles 117. Okay, these ones that you mentioned previously explicitly state that disseminating or forming an organization that is suspected of adhering to communism is punishable by the state. That sucks. Oh yeah, this is the one.
Yeah.
And to this day, the children of people affiliated with the Indonesian Communist Party and its organizations such as Jerwani, your grandma.
Yeah. No, my girlfriend's grandma.
Okay. Are prohibited from holding public office. Basically barring them from holding any governmental positions, right?
Position. Yeah.
Public libraries that frequently hold books suspected of adhering communist ideology. Even local ones such as Tan Malaka Madilog often find these works stolen. They're not on the burning books like part of the fascism yet.
Not on the burning books kind of thing. Like it happens like multiple times to like there's a Twitter account that runs like a local public library and like they put books on the streets every weekend so people can read freely. And every single time it's always the leftist or like leftist-ish books that are like gone.
Damn. Okay.
They're not into book burning. They're just like, okay, we're just gonna take the book and disappear it.
And like probably throw it away or destroy it. Screenings of films that criticize the Suharto government's role in the 1965 communist massacre for the exiling of Indonesian youth suspected of being communist are routinely suppressed or forced to be cancelled. Where did they exile those suspected communists? Like, did they mean exile? Like they had to leave Indonesia, or by exile they have to leave the plane of the mortal existence, the mortal plane.
No, there's I don't know if Lola Amaria's gonna release it internationally again, but there's a documentary titled Exile. It's basically about all the Indonesian students that were granted scholarships during Sukarno era to study in Soviet Union, to study in USSR affiliated countries. And after Suharto took over, Suharto just like, we remove your citizenship.
Where the fuck did they go?
So they're exiled practically.
So basically they had
they
became Soviets.
Seek asylum. Yeah, most of them seek asylums and become citizens of like Dutch, the Eastern Europe countries.
Right, and some probably.
But I think what's the saddest part of it is like they still love Indonesia. Like they still want to return,
Of
but every
course.
time they try to return, they always get suppression and intimidation from the state.
I mean, that's kind of expected, especially if they studied in the Soviet Union. The ghost of communism has never left Indonesia, and in more ways than one in harm what happened in the post Suharto or post Reformasi post. Yeah, the specter of communism will always be there. The cost of political ambiguity. Perhaps you don't have strong preferences for having political parties with Marxist ideology, but now perhaps you ask, what about other political parties in Indonesia? Yeah, this is like a, like a, what happens when you have a milk toast politics. While many could point out that there are 18 political parties and none of them has strong ideological positions in any direction but center-right populism. Yeah, that you mentioned before, right? The
Yeah, but back then it was 3. Now we have 18 of them, and it's all
oh
the same
damn, what
flavors.
joy!
So
Yeah,
like, what's the point?
yeah.
What's the point?
They're all the same, but like different like cans. They're all the same flavor, but different packaging. Basically, the internal shit is still the same. Yeah, same. Picking the same parties with different toppings. Yeah. Would you like a hardline Islamic and social conservatism with your party? Would you prefer a nationalist one? Because at the end of the day, none of it would matter if they're all in a supermajority coalition anyway. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and that's basically our current government coalition.
Damn.
17 parties in one coalition.
What?
Which is insane when you think of it.
Yeah, it doesn't make it a lot. It's not making any sense at all. This has left the poster from
because like theoretically, if like all these parties have like they have their own ideological standings, there is no way you can form a coalition with like everyone but one.
Yeah, it's like I don't know, like what's gonna happen to them when they okay, so when they've successfully eliminated everything that's in their path, what prevents them from not turning on each other? Right? These
Political blackmail.
The what?
That's how I suspect.
Yeah.
Political blackmail. That's how I suspect Prabowo managed to keep this coalition in line, because once you're out, suddenly all those corruption charges are conveniently out in the public.
Right?
That's basically how we work. That's how extortion, in a way. Like if you leave the coalition, you will not get any protection anymore. We will, like, all those corruptions you did when you're still with us, yeah, that's out. We're gonna charge you.
Right?
They have too much dirt on each other.
Yeah. Fucking neoliberalism. The people's material conditions, well, they had seen improvement post-Reformasi, are now backsliding to pre-1998 conditions. People have grown apathetic to politics because at the end of the day, there's no such thing as political parties having an ideological stand that people can rally behind. Yeah, because they're all just fucking like right, whatever flavor of rights they fancy. And many have not or could not consider Marxism or socialism as an alternative because the indoctrination is still strong. And it is illegal to make motions and like let me tell you, like there's this random ass like 16-year-old Indonesian kid that wanted to enter my server. So everyone who wants to join my server had to go through like a vetting form, right? They had to write on a vetting form and they have to ask. Yeah. And then they straight up just typed, I'm like a Christo-fascist. And I'm like, what the fuck are you here for? Did you miss the part where I said I'm a fucking communist? Huh? What makes you think that I would want you to be in my server when because that kid is apparently into metal. Ooh, because like he was also in my friends, my other metal VTuber friends servers, and I had to tell them like, yo, you are harboring you are harboring a fucking teenager Christo-fascist in your server. Like you gotta kick him out before he harms the other members in your server. Yeah, that was wild. Yeah. They were so proud too. Like, what the fuck do you mean? It's like, oh, I don't really like, cause like one of my friends have like, you know, like one of my friends is queer. I mean, I'm queer, but they were pretty open about like, you know, being trans and stuff like that. And he was so condescending about that friend of mine. Like, oh, I don't care about like if this person is trans, but because they don't really talk about being trans, and I don't care for that. But I think that, you know, I don't believe that trans people should have rights. But I'm like, what the fuck? You just said that you don't mind, but then you said you don't believe that they need to have rights. Are you fucking serious right now? Be so for fucking real right now. I was like, yo, this person is dangerous, you know? Like, so I had to tell my friends, like, fucking ban this weirdo. They're only 16. I'm like, what the hell? That kid is cooked.
I'll be real. That's unfortunately in the current social media reality. That's like the average 16-year-old in Indonesia. 16-year-old male Indonesian that is into weebs or military or airsoft stuff.
Right? Yeah, that guy is like a combination of like being a weeb and like Nazi and like what do you call this? Metal. That's basically it.
Always predictable.
Right?
Always predictable. Like, holy shit.
Oh my god, how are you so proud openly saying that, oh, I'm a Christo-fascist? Like, do you not hear what you just said? Like, how do you say that to describe yourself, kid? Like, oh my, where are your parents? What the fuck? I was like, I was I was so shocked. I was like, I'm usually very I'm usually very gentle with like the younger people in my server. Like I usually am more lenient to them. But for that I was like, nah, fuck no, get the fuck away from my server. It's just, oh my god.
Like, oh my god. I'm sorry for laughing, but it's just like,
Islam.
holy shit, that's like
and then I realized, like, when we
fucking
were talking,
average Indonesian teenager.
I just realized that when we were talking about this, and I'm like, oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense why there's so many like anti-communist sentiments in my chat. Like, not in my chat, in my before I was like, you know, before I declared that I was like, you know, the months leading to the months after I openly said, hey, I'm a fucking communist, fuck y'all. So after that, like, I see so many people like complaining about communism, and then they're saying that they're Indonesian, and like they
oh my god, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, no. It's, of course, it's not your fault. It's a fault of the fucking fascists in your country. But like, I just remembered, you know, like this is making a lot of sense to me now, that how pervasive is the anti-communist sentiment is, even on the like the, you know, even on the weebs, even among the weebs, you know. I think it's even worse because they're the weebs, you know. A lot of them are incels too.
Yeah.
So once they found out that their favorite metal singer is like apparently a communist, then that's the line that I fucking draw. Like, shut the fuck up, bitch. Like, I don't give a fuck about what you think about me. But that's basically like how I
feel bad, but
that's like a daily thing that I have to deal with in my comment section. Not gonna lie, like people are just complaining about like.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Then if you don't like it, then don't click. Please, just don't engage. Scroll away, right?
Oh,
simple.
Oh my god.
But apparently,
like, oh
no.
like...
They had to let me know that they're very disappointed in me, or that they're unfollowing me, you know, because they have to know apparently.
Oh yeah, they'll do that. They always do that. Like, even like, oh my god, I feel like, oh my god,
life could be a lot simpler if you don't have to, right?
This fucking Indo-fascist kids, they're like 16 years old, like, motherfucker, you're some kid named Joko who live in fucking Kediri. Go help your mom.
Right? Like, why are you on the internet?
You're not fucking Aryan. You're not an Aryan. You're a fucking Japanese whose dad is like, I'm sorry, having like a minimum wage job at a local factory. Shut the fuck up.
This kid literally looks like your typical like a Malay, like like the Indonesian kid, right? Like you don't look like the Nazis are gonna accept you, bro. You don't have blonde eyes. The blonde eyes, blonde hair, blue eyes. You don't have that. You don't have the phenotype of the Aryan race. You are very much Southeast Asian looking. So it's just like
it's like hilarious because there were stories of Indonesians being sent to the Auschwitz camp because they thought Indonesians because the Nazi thought Indonesians looks Jewish.
Jawir Tulen.
Just insane.
What?
So like, bro, why are you fascist? The Nazis think you're Jew. They don't even think you're Asian. You don't even look like their kind of Asian. You look like a goddamn Jew for them. Like, holy shit, learn some history. But man, those kids.
Oh my god.
I had to deal with them too. Like, even like because I present myself as like liberal-ish for safety reasons.
Of course.
But even then, I still got attacked by those kind of weebs, Indonesian weebs. Like, look at this guy, Rizky Zalmin, and he's pro LGBT, he's queer.
So actually, that we uncovered that. My mods uncovered that because I the first time I did his vetting thing, right? He bypassed my vetting forms because he was a member of my YouTube channel. So I do that as a perk for my memberships. Now I don't anymore. Everybody has to like do the vetting forms now because of that reason. So what happened was he bypassed the thing, and then I rejected like his admission because like I was seeing like, wait, what the fuck is this kid doing? So he talked to my I think at first he was in my server. Sorry. He was first in my server because he was a member, and then his membership died, like his membership ended. So he could not access anymore, so he had to do it by the actual the actual process of becoming a member, which is going through the vetting forms. And then when I saw his vetting forms, I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? So naturally I rejected it because like I have like a series of questions, true or false and stuff, like true or false, like are trans rights human rights? And then he said no. So I'm like, okay, you can't be in my server, bitch. Like, what the hell, So like he went, what he did? He messaged my head mod and asked, why am I not accepted? Like, and like, do you need more explanation about my political position? And so like, okay, my head mod was like, okay, yeah, sure. Like, please type like blah blah blah. And then he explained like, oh, I'm actually like a Christo fascist. So like, and I'm like, we were like, what? You just flat out admitted that. Yo, what the fuck?
Oh my god!
I was floored by this, just a flat out admission that, oh yeah, like you want me to expand my actual political views on why I think that trans people should die? Like, what the fuck, bro? I was like, yeah, I was just so surprised. Like, this came out from a 16-year-old fucking child in Asia? What do you mean you're a Christo fascist? You're Asian, man. What the hell are you talking about? Oh my god.
Yeah, because all the indoctrination at schools, and then you have like a very right-wing internet. Of course, like one of the most natural conditions an Indonesian kid will have is to become a fascist. That's just like the thing.
Yeah. Jesus Christ, man.
Oh my god.
Anyway, moving on. I just wanted to say like that because like it started to click in my head. I'm like, oh shit, that's why that kid is so fucked in the head. Like he was like okay otherwise, but like like he was not super like an asshole interacting with other people, but like internally he had these thoughts. He thinks that trans people should die. Trans people should not
on top
exist.
of that,
Oh, fuck that, man.
A lot of
Holy
them also
shit.
see fascism as like a static thing, and like we
Yeah,
don't take it
yeah.
so much seriously. Like
They think that it's
there used to
fashionable.
be, I mean, I fucking hate my city, but there used to be a cafe in my city that is like Nazi theme.
What?
Because you know they sell fried rice and they call it Nazi goreng. I was like,
No, Nazi goring? Oh hell no, dog! What the fuck? That is
like,
fucked
oh my
up. Oh
fucking
my
god, it's so
god,
cringe.
Nazi goring? No. Okay, all right. That's Indonesia. You are cooked as fucked. What the hell? There is no fucking fried
Even like,
Nazi. Holy shit. I mean, I agree to the term fried Nazi. Actually, we should burn
but
them.
not within the context.
I agree with that though. I agree with the fried part, you know. Man, what the hell? People go that far, huh? The aesthetics, fascist aesthetics. It's like it's not even. It's not even like
It's kind of
fashionable.
disconnected.
Yeah.
We only see the aesthetics. Like a lot only see the aesthetics and like, oh cool, especially for like for a lot of the young Muslim kids, like, oh cool, these fashions looks cool. They also hate the Jew. I hate the Jew. I can co-opt
No,
their aesthetics without knowing the further context.
he did say that. I think he did mention that too, like the globalist, you know, jewelry.
Of course,
So like,
extremely
I'm like, what
predictable.
the fuck? Where'd you get this,
Extremely
man?
predictable.
Where did you get these ideas, motherfucker? What the hell? You're 16. Holy shit! It was like reading us a 4chan like, you know, bait post. Like I'm like, what the hell? Am I reading it from like am I like am I reading what I'm reading right now? Because I was so shocked that anyone would just openly admit that about themselves, you know? Maybe let's bring shame back. How about that? Like, or and
Yeah.
keeping things to yourself back. Yeah, you don't need to overshare. What the fuck?
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
alright. Moving
just how
on.
it is, man. But
Political
I'm
conditions.
glad it connects to you now.
Yeah. It makes like making a lot more sense to me. And like, why? Why is that? Like, oh shit. Okay, because of the basically the material condition, the socio-political situation in Indonesia is just cooked. Holy fuck.
We're good.
The cafe is bankrupt already. Okay, good to know.
Yeah. There are still like a lot of funnier restaurants, to be honest. Like there's one, I think like there's a chicken rice bowl shop that name all their chickens menu after dictators, including Adolf Hitler. Like, oh my fucking god,
No,
we are so fucking cooked. We only see politics as fucking aesthetics. Like they sell chicken
no.
Vladimir, chicken Jong Un, chicken Adolf.
Chicken Jong Un. Okay. I mean, I would eat that though because it's Kim Jong Un. So, but the rest they can get fucked. I mean, there used to be a host club in Japan with a Nazi theme as well. So, oh yeah, don't even get me started on the Nazi, like, you know, the fascist aesthetics of some cosplayers, like that. And also like
I remember.
some anime, like the some animators too. Like, what do you call this? Like some mangaka as well. They have the fash, you know. Some of them are fash, really.
Yeah,
They draw inspiration
I
from
remember
fash
brown skin
aesthetics.
Indonesia.
Brown brown
Oh
skinned
my god.
Indonesian student in the US. Yeah.
The turning point because they don't let them in. Oh my!
Oh my god.
Wait, someone from Indonesia tried to join Turning Point. Oh my god, I'm so fucking embarrassed as an
Turning
Indonesian.
point.
God damn, God damn, some
Yeah.
of our Indonesians are just like fucking
Bro,
cooking the brains.
you don't
It's
have the right skin color. What the fuck do you mean? What made you think you're in the club, you know? The fuck? You need to have the right skin color. You need to
holy
pass the paper
shit.
bag test, you know? Some MTG artists too, yeah. Yeah. Hitalia. No, but Hitalia is like, I don't know, more of like a joke. But like, for example, I think Attack on Titan, that has the fascist aesthetics. This allows
Yeah.
Haruto's son-in-law, Prabowo
Holy shit.
Subianto, self-exiled himself to Jordan? Ah,
Yeah. To avoid any accountability.
bro, okay. Since apartheid, Gerindra and Prabowo's political influence has been on a slow but steady rise, as he and his party were quickly embraced by political elites. Of course they are, because they protect capital.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just like his father-in-law, he played the same ultra-nationalist rhetoric and engaged in black campaigns accusing his opponents of being communist. Of course. Instead of being relegated as a stain in Indonesian history, he was rewarded as a Ministry of Defense position in 2019 in Joko Widodo's second term. What a joke. What the hell?
Yeah.
Okay, let's moving on to the cost Indonesians paid. So before we even get into what the fuck is happening in Indonesia, it is important to talk about two things. What happened in 2020 in a massive wave of protests was happening across Indonesia, led
Jobs
by
Creation Act.
students. Yeah. Okay, so these are about the jobs creation.
We already talked about this part.
Yeah. What happened during Indonesia's 2024 election?
Yeah, it's a huge fuckery. Like, it's on the last paragraph of the 6, if you want to skip.
Okay. This one?
Yeah, as mentioned in the previous sections, Prabowo won the election with Gibran Rakabuming Raka, Joko Widodo's son, as his vice president. But Gibran's path to become a vice presidential candidate itself should have been the final sign that reformasi has failed the people and a more radical approach was needed to combat unchecked neoliberalism.
Yeah.
And an unprecedented move because, well, those neoliberal countries, we just forget to put it in law. Jokowi broke the norm by saying that president can be politically involved with the elections because no law prohibits the president from doing so.
Yeah.
And he used his power to basically pressure his cabinet members to like send material aid to the people for campaign purposes. Like they do photo ops and saying like "Terima kasih Pak Jokowi, thank you Mr. Jokowi," and like basically saying like if you want to keep getting these aids, you vote for continuity and some bullshit like that.
Such bullshit, yeah.
Yeah. And I think like in that way, he intentionally pitted the working class against one another by utilizing social safety net programs for political purposes.
Because they're trying to make
and of
the
course
material
there's
conditions worse. And like, if you want to, do you want your material conditions to be to stay the same or like to like improve? Well, you gotta do this now. Basically, like a carrot on a stick. For nepotism,
and of course, here the case. Like I forgot the documents. I lost it, but to flood the court with like 15 cases that is basically the same thing. Like, please lower the age requirement for presidential and vice presidential candidates. And won.
Oh, really?
Yeah. After flooding 15, won.
Damn, okay. This was the very
moment. And there are a lot of questions.
Every single Indonesian has paid the cost of not going further or pushing things to go further, yeah.
That's the unfortunate reality.
Yeah.
Like, that's one way, I guess, to like win your cases, just like flood the courts with the same cases until the court relents with one of the arguments. Also, yeah, the Chief Justice of the Constitutional Court is Jokowi's brother-in-law, so totally there is no nepotism involved. Totally no conflict of interest involved.
What the fuck, man?
Yeah.
It's just like a political dynasty of like... Oh wait, what is this? Point painting? What is this? Revisi.
This is like the revisions of the National Military Bill. So like Section 7, it's basically allowing the military to do military operations outside of war, including cybersecurity and helping or rescuing Indonesians that are in foreign countries if they're like stuck in the conflict zone. Section 47 expands where the military can hold civil positions from 9 to 14. And Section 53 is basically raising the pension. raising the age of retirement.
Erasing the age of retirement? They're not even.
Yeah,
They're
they
not even
raise the
letting
age
people.
of retirement.
Oh God. They're not even letting
They're not
people
even
retire.
letting people retire.
What the fuck? That is evil as
Like,
shit.
if you're like a 4-star general, your retirement age is 63 years
Yeah,
and
and
can
now
be
they
extended maximum
They
2
can-
years, 2 times. So like, if the
Uh-oh.
president likes you and like, oh, you
We'll be
cannot
there
retire, buddy, I like
forever.
you.
Bro, what the fuck?
There forever.
Nah. Oh yeah, that's true, May. It's a shameless dynasticism. Yeah. You know why? Because we have an oversupply of NCO. What is an NCO?
Yeah, we have we have a lot of oversupply of like middle rank military members. Like they don't have positions, they don't have jobs. So one of the justifications the government did with this bill is like, hey, well, if we allow them to work in civil positions, jobs.
Non-commanding officers. Ah, okay. Damn, what the fuck?
So that they don't have anything to command, they're allowed to have jobs in the public sector. Yay! We help them. Not really, because that still
Yeah.
does not solve the material conditions.
Or there are YouTube links here. Would you like to watch some of these? Which one should
I mean,
we...
if you want to watch, sure, like watch one of two.
Okay, I'm gonna watch this one.
I think the second one.
Second one is better. Okay.
Okay. Second one is basically analysis.
Okay. Is it in?
But yeah, if you want to let.
Oh, it's in
It's in
South
English.
China. Okay. South China Morning Post. Okay, I'm also very. Is this the sus one? The one with backed by the USAID? Not sure.
I mean, like, is there any like, no. Before we get into that, there's like, I remember being extremely disappointed with one of leftist publications regarding Indonesia, and that's why like I decided to shoot an invite to you.
Ah.
Like, was it the Mint Press News?
Oh really?
Had an article about basically, yeah, they basically glaze Jokowi and like say he's anti-US and his Jobs Creation Act is gonna open more jobs. No, dipshit, listen to us. Listen to the
Yeah,
actual
yeah.
Indonesians. What are you doing?
Wait, what? They glazed him? But I mean, to be
glazed
fair,
Jokowi, the man.
Mint Press is, yeah, I mean, sometimes they have some lib takes, but like, yeah, that is disappointing. But
Like, holy shit,
is
like,
this
they
any better?
even
Is this analysis any better?
I mean, it's some slightly better.
Okay.
And like they accuse the Labor Party of accepting bribes from the US, and the bribes is only like $70. Like,
$70?
what the fuck, man? That's only $70. That's only $70 in bribe. You can't.
Yeah, Mint Press is basically US bad tankies.
I'm a little bit disappointed with them. Like,
No,
I
but
wish they
that's
have
not,
like
like
actual
really
Indonesians to like
they
talk about
do
Indonesia.
some good like coverage on other things though. But yeah, in this in particular, like why are you glazing Jokowi? Like what the fuck?
Yeah, $70 is $70. Like, come on, like that's
Said
embarrassing.
Iqbal. Okay. Oh my god.
Yeah.
It's a move that has left some worried about the future of one of the world's largest democracies.
Hari ini kita seperti mengalami kemunduran kembali gitu.
Indonesia's parliament has approved revisions to the country's military law. The move gives the armed forces an expanded
Yeah, that's
role in
basically how the
civilian
protest
life.
went.
Tentang Tentara Nasional Indonesia, apakah dapat disetujui untuk disahkan menjadi undang-undang?
Jadi demokrasi jelas mundur, plus kemudian
Oh yeah, this
sekarang TNI
person Puan
juga
Maharani is the daughter of Megawati Soekarno Putri, the leader of Indonesian's Democratic Party of Struggle. So, you know, it's
Correct.
all nepotism all the way down.
Yeah. What a surprise.
masuk jabatan sipil, tambah mundur lagi.
Like, what if
Is
the Democratic
President
Party is
Prabowo
all the
Subianto-
Clintons? That's basically the Indonesian Democratic Party of Struggle. It's all the Clintons all the way down. It's all the Sukarnos all the way down.
Sukarno's granddaughter. Okay. This shit sucks, man.
Ushering in a return to Indonesia's 3 decades of military rule. Indonesian lawmakers unanimously approved revisions to laws limiting the role of the military in civilian affairs. The change aims to roll back decades of direct involvement by the military across Indonesian society, from politics and security to the economy and family life.
Ada aturan misalnya seperti presiden bisa menempatkan perwira aktif di jabatan manapun sesuai dengan kebijakan presiden. Nah, itu yang kami pikir akan kemudian mengembalikan otoritarianisme militer sebagaimana terjadi pada masa pemerintahan Soeharto Orde Baru begitu.
For more than 30 years, the Indonesian Armed Forces occupied a central role in the government of then-President Suharto, a military general who ruled the country with an iron fist. The Suharto New Order regime cast the military as having difungsi or dual function.
Konsep difungsi itu adalah konsep di mana tentara Indonesia itu pada zaman Orde Lama ya, pada zaman Soeharto dan pada zaman Soeharto tidak hanya berfungsi dan bertugas sebagai alat pertahanan semata, tetapi juga berfungsi dan bertugas sebagai alat politik dan alat sosial pemerintah gitu ya. Saat ini masyarakat khawatir terhadap kembalinya dui fungsi militer itu pertama disebabkan karena adanya pengalaman atau trauma kolektif yang dirasakan oleh masyarakat Indonesia, yaitu di mana pada masa Orde Baru peran dui fungsi militer itu berdampak terhadap konflik horizontal antara masyarakat dengan militer itu sendiri.
Nah, di Indonesia dulu ada doktrin yang namanya dui fungsi ABRI, atau dulu kan Angkatan Bersenjata Republik Indonesia ABRI yang terdiri dari TNI dan polisi. Sekarang sudah dipisah. Tapi dui fungsi itu artinya tidak hanya pertahanan yang dilakukan oleh Angkatan Bersenjata, tapi juga politik, yang pada akhirnya politik dan ekonomi begitu ya. Nah, ini dulu adalah sejarah kelam di Indonesia, terjadi mulai tahun 60-an sebenarnya, ketika waktu itu ABRI sudah menguat posisinya dalam politik Indonesia, tapi paling signifikan adalah tentu saja pada masa pemerintahan Soeharto. Nah, waktu itu suasananya benar-benar negara otoriter. Jadi mulai dari seluruh di jalanan, di warung, di desa-desa dengan babinsa dan cabang-cabang dari ABRI waktu itu menimbulkan ketakutan di bangsa Indonesia, dan itulah yang kemudian menyebabkan banyak terjadi korupsi, kemudian banyak juga terjadi pelanggaran HAM.
During the new order, the armed forces were used to crack down on any signs of civil dissent. Protests were crushed, activists were disappeared, and secret army death squads committed a wave of extrajudicial killings that left thousands dead. Decades of repression at the hands of the military reached a crescendo in 1998. The soldiers opened fire on
secret
student
army death
protesters at
squads,
Jakarta
which
University,
Prabowo,
killing
and I have to
4.
say, legally speaking, allegedly involved
Yeah.
as the leader of Tim Mawar.
Yeah?
Allegedly, despite the martial court already found him guilty, it's still allegedly because that fucker
Allegedly.
escaped to Jordan. Yeah, so it's still allegedly.
He was accepted in Jordan, the fuck?
Injuring 15 others. A month of protests, riots, and bloodshed toppled the Suharto regime and ushered in a new era
the
of
martial court already
democratic
found him
reforms.
guilty for misrepresenting orders of maintaining the security, but and killing activists. But they didn't go as far as saying yeah, he's guilty of human rights violations because
Yeah,
the
of
fucker
course
already
not,
escaped by
yeah.
then.
Also, that's what they're doing. Anyone that upholds, Western hegemony and the basically the values of capital, even now, that's what they're doing with let's say Netanyahu. He's clearly a war criminal, but nobody is really doing anything.
Reforms
US
put
did
limits on the
something up
military's
to the
role,
point until he became Ministry of Defense. Like Prabowo was barred from entering United States, but once he become accepted a member of the neoliberalist government, the US was like, nah, we chill.
Yeah. What the hell? Does this mean that the Indonesia's military being allegedly one of the strongest in the world is a lie? Is that even a
Hell
thing?
yeah! I think that's given. Who the fuck says that?
Who said that? Like statistically, that's not. Who believes that shit? Come on.
We don't even spend like as much as the United States on maintaining a military industrial complex.
You
Come
don't
on
have
now.
the tech to maintain. You don't have the tech to like go toe to toe against China. The fuck. Even.
while greatly expanding civil society. Today, many are worried Indonesia is backsliding under President Prabowo, a former Special Forces commander who's also Suharto's son-in-law.
Bro.
Perjuangan untuk misalnya menghapuskan
Daddy issues.
peran politik, sosial,
Uncle
ekonomi
issues.
dari militer itu tidak mudah. Itu sudah banyak pengorbanannya. Kawan-kawan mahasiswa banyak yang
Students were killed.
tewas. Ribuan orang harus terbunuh, meninggal dunia, termasuk dalam kerusuhan Mei.
32 tahun Soeharto berkuasa, banyak sekali kasus pelanggaran HAM berat masa lalu di mana di situ terdapat keterlibatan militer dugaan, dan sehingga jika RUU ini disahkan malah akan semakin memperkuat impunitas, semakin sulit bagi korban-korban dan keluarga korban pelanggaran HAM untuk mencapai keadilan karena kewenangan dari TNI justru ditambah dan bukannya dibatasi.
Sehingga ketika undang-undang ini masuk, sangat kelihatan bahwa nanti tentara akan bisa masuk ke jabatan-jabatan sipil, yang artinya ini sama dengan apa yang terjadi di masa dui fungsi ABRI itu.
Kami khawatir bahwa ketika dui fungsi TNI ini kembali, dui fungsi militer ini kembali, itu akan mengancam demokrasi yang sedang berjalan, demokrasi yang memang sampai hari ini masih fragile gitu ya.
The head of the Indonesian military, General Agus Subianto, has called the country's 2004 military law outdated and pushed to roll back some of the restrictions. He found a receptive audience in the House of Representatives, which agreed to open a wider range of civilian posts to members of the military.
Uji, I wonder
Pasal
if he want to
ini
push
menambah
back some of the
cakupan
restrictions.
Yeah. Like this someone in the chat was like, our military is fighting freedom fighters in Papua. The only time they claim that they won anything was when they bomb innocent villages. I mean, that's the same in the...
Yeah.
Tugas pokok
But I feel like a lot of people also don't really talk about the atrocities that is going on in West Papua.
Yeah.
Because, well, if you're a foreign journalist and trying to go there, they can literally fucking threaten you under the barrel of a gun.
Yeah.
Good luck
Yeah.
making good luck of even finding flights to Papua. Like, remember when Speed visits Indonesia and he wants to go to Papua?
Yeah.
There were a lot of fuckery involved with his flight plans. Like, cancel it, and then he tried to book another plan, but it also canceled. Like, that's definitely
Damn,
government's
that's
intervention
yeah.
preventing Speed from going to Papua.
That's crazy. Like even a streamer can't like enter. What the fuck? That's crazy. Same with Modi. He was prohibited to enter the U.S. because of the 2002 Gujarat riots. But after he became PM, his crimes were conveniently forgotten. Yeah, well.
TNI yang semula 14, tugas pokok
No
menjadi
witnesses, yeah.
16 tugas pokok.
Before the revision was passed, active duty soldiers were allowed to work in the Ministry of Defense and Intelligence Agency. Now soldiers are also free to hold posts in the Attorney General's office, as well as in agencies for disaster response, maritime security, and counterterrorism.
Oleh karena itu, perubahan Undang-Undang TNI diajukan oleh pihak DPR RI diperlukan untuk memberikan landasan hukum yang lebih jelas terhadap peran TNI pada tugas lain selain perang tanpa melanggar prinsip demokrasi dan supremasi sipil.
Sekali lagi dengan karakter presiden yang seperti Prabowo sekarang, sangat mungkin akhirnya seluruh jabatan di bidang-bidang tersebut terisi semua atau setengahnya oleh tentara. Tapi begitu dibuka lagi peluangnya, masuk ditulis betul Kejaksaan Agung dan Mahkamah Agung, timbul pula kekhawatiran seperti tadi. Berarti jangan-jangan penegakan hukum kita juga akan diisi oleh tentara. Dan kalau itu yang terjadi, ya demokrasi berarti mati.
Yeah, Hayama was right
Active
about
duty
our
soldiers are
parliamentary
still
system. We don't have like the one vote per member system. We
Mm-mm.
have this thing called musyawarah. So if like say I'm trying to pass a law and there are some politicians that disagree with that piece of law,
Right.
we have to reach a compromise until they agree. So like most of like Indonesian's law product are just product of like militant post compromise. Except when they are in the same agenda of protecting capital, that is.
Bro, yeah, of course. Why is it not so like I'm not surprised, but also like damn, the fucking audacity. They really have. Like where do they get this?
That's yeah.
Where do they get the
Like that's
audacity?
the reason why yeah. And that's the reason why some like the Protections Against Sexual Crimes Act took like I don't know 15 years to get passed because one party, Partai Keadilan Sejahtera, the social prosperity party, because they're like an Islamist party, they disagree with some of the concept like why should we consider consensual sex outside marital law not punishable by crime. So like it took 15 years for them to
Damn, what the
finally
fuck?
relent and agree. That's not
Jesus.
an ideal way to build nations or like build a political systems around, because like
Yeah.
a single man can like kill a bill for years or even decades.
Jesus.
You don't even need
Christ.
like the filibuster stuff in the US. You can just like,
Yeah, yeah.
nah, I don't like this, and then the bill's dead.
Yeah, what the fuck, bro? There's no even like checks and balances and whatever. Nothing. Jesus Christ. A bit fun fact about our parliament, there's no one vote per party thingy. A member, yeah. There's no disagreement within a faction. Every single member is controlled by the respective party leaders. That sucks. That's not even. Why are you even in a party? If your party leader can just like manipulate you into like doing the same thing as they are. I almost did a
You have
paper
to,
for a college
quote out
project.
the party line.
Right. But that's not how you do it though. Like you can't force people to do that. But then my lecturer was like, "Nah, boy, I don't know if that's a stroke or a stroke of luck or not." Yeah. Marital rape is not real for them. What the fuck? Yeah, what a
Yep.
time to be a woman in Indonesia. What the hell? It's
I
disgusting.
mean, thankfully that piece of law finally passed after like 15 years, which takes 15 years too long.
Mm. In Indonesia, a lot of people think that
it's insane.
consent means legalizing adultery. What the fuck? How is this country still exists boggles my mind sometimes. I know, right? So you don't have universal suffrage?
I mean, we have universal suffrage in our electoral systems, but once you say become an elected representative of the Indonesian people, there is no such thing as that. Like you either kowtow to the party line, or like if you disagree with a piece of law, that means everyone has to like convince you or compromise with you until you agree.
Fuck, what the hell? That's not how it should work. Like what the hell? That is definitely like, the it's on brand with fascism. Alright, sorry, moving on.
Still barred from employment by state-owned companies, a restriction passed during Indonesia's post-Suharto shift to democracy. Members of the armed forces must first retire before taking
What's the
roles
point of
still
compromising with
restricted by the
fascists?
military.
Because
They
our
protect
nations
capital.
believe that disagreement or opposition is like bad vibes all around. So like we our nation's principle like believes that, well, if we want to function as a nation, then we have to build agreements with each other, and like no opposition or like no disagreements, because disagreements are bad. Everyone has to agree, or nobody agrees.
It's all or nothing.
Yeah.
Why are you so conditioned with harmony? I mean, that's also like a collectivist culture, you know. Yeah. But a collectivist culture under capitalism sucks. For sure.
Law. Still, those concerned by the first revision to the law in more than 20 years warn the door is now open to further moves by House lawmakers to weaken the military law.
Bahwa RUU TNI ini memang membuka peluang kembalinya militerisme di Indonesia yang selama 32 tahun masa pemerintahan Soeharto itu sudah kita tolak di tahun 98.
According to legal experts, the country's armed forces have already extended their reach far beyond military affairs.
Sejak Prabowo menjadi Menteri Pertahanan pada masa pemerintahan Jokowi, itu militer memang sudah masuk ke banyak aspek kehidupan demokrasi Indonesia gitu, mulai dari mengurus program makan bergizi gratis,
You can see that guy
estate,
that was interviewed like
dan
the
banyak
trade
yang lain.
unionists. They have, the typical leftist aesthetics like red clothes, the stars, all the kind of stuff that no communist symbol. So that's how most people get around of signaling leftist aesthetics.
Mines in Papua have largest gold and copper deposits in the world. We are a feudalistic collectivist by culture. Individualism are kind of hard, especially in rural area. Spoiler alert, Indonesian military is one of the most corrupt. I mean, yeah. If people don't figure it out already, like, I don't know what will.
Bahkan menteri-menteri itu juga ada beberapa yang dari tentara. Nah, itu semua harus segera dilegitimasi. Makanya buru-buru dikeluarkan RUU ini, atau sekarang sudah jadi undang-undang.
Under Prabowo, the military has already seen its role expand.
Prabowo itu latar belakangnya militer. Dengan segala catatannya ya, bahwa dia juga hidup di masa Orde Baru, naik juga berkarir di militer waktu itu karena mantan mertuanya Soeharto yang berkuasa 32 tahun dengan dui fungsi ABRI. Catatan itu memberikan gambaran bahwa memang ini keinginan yang mau digunakan untuk memutarbalikkan amanah reformasi.
Prabowo has maintained close ties with the military throughout his political career. This in itself is nothing new. Despite rules limiting the role of the military in Indonesian politics, retired military officials have held top roles in the government, including the office of the president. But for many observers, Prabowo's rapid move to restore some of the powers that were once afforded to the military during the New Order era marks a new shift in Indonesia's democratic norms.
Tetapi dampaknya menjadi sangat luar biasa, sebab pertama, perumusan undang-undang ini tidak dilakukan secara jujur dan secara terbuka. Tidak melibatkan masyarakat sipil. Undang-undang ini sempat dibahas di dalam rapat-rapat tertutup di hotel, bukan di gedung parlemen. Cara pandang kami adalah sejak awal ketika Presiden Prabowo terpilih ya dalam pemilu 2024 kemarin, Orde Baru memang sudah benar-benar kembali gitu. Mulai dari cara pandangnya dia terhadap pengelolaan negara, favoritismnya dia kepada militer, itu persis seperti pada masa Orde Baru. Orde Baru memang sudah kembali di Indonesia. Revisi Undang-Undang TNI itu hanya akan melegalisasi hal tersebut dalam konteks hukum.
Damn, okay. Okay, so I looked it up. The Sovereign Wealth Fund I wanted to like see what it does. It represents a state monopoly capitalism, which
Yep.
where the state facilitates capital centralization, privatizing public assets for the oligarchic profit. So yeah, that shit sucks. Let's talk about
That shit
the
sucks, man.
failure
It's
of the failure of the why Reformasi sucks, like as leftists, Like let's talk about that.
like, yeah, all of this, like, would have been prevented if Indonesia pushed for like a more radical approach. Like, we should have like take away the political rights and the capital that is owned by all the people within Suharto circle. That I think was like our biggest mistakes. We let them regroup, them re-strategize.
That's the biggest mistake too,
If we
because like,
take
sorry, go ahead.
and like if and that's the first one. The second one, if we actually do some finding out establish like a truth and reconciliation commission, a lot of this will have been preventable too. Like if the truth is allowed to come out, if the truth about the massacre in 1965 and all the students disappearance in 1998 and all the activist killings in 1998 were allowed to be presented to the public, and all the perpetrators are like I don't know, forced to serve justice instead of holding political positions, then none of this would have happened too.
Yeah, like from a Marxist-Leninist perspective, like reformist movements never work. Okay, so they're always co-opted unless they pursue, you actually pursue revolutionary seizure of power, right? So Indonesia basically repeated the error of Bernstein's revisionism. They still believe that you can humanize capital, which you can't. You can never do that. It will always you can never humanize capitalism. And basically there's a kind of because of that, the coalition that was created, there was a lot of proletarian disunity, right? Because of the not only because of the hardline anti-communism, but also there's a lot of material deprivation that happened because of course the wealth transfer, right? That happened that made people really not think about they had to it's kind of hard to make a political movement when you don't even know what to eat next, and the thing is what must be done is from the perspective of a Marxist, class consciousness should be rebuilt through dual power structures, right? So which is really hard to do because like you said, it's so difficult to even have a political party there if you don't have capital. But yeah, you don't even have workers' councils that are effective, let alone militant unions, right? But yeah,
When we have militant unions, but they're only limited. Their political act and movement is only limited to union-related issue,
not
and that's
as militant
that's
as they
we
should
need
be,
to focus.
Yeah.
Yep. It sucks, honestly. I hope this is a lesson learned to other leftists across the world that Indonesia is basically the blueprint for all the bullshit.
And basically, what I can take away from this as someone who's from a dialectical materialism perspective, we should always reject legalism. Bourgeois legality will never ever allow us to build socialism. Look at what happened to Reformasi, right? Nothing happened. It just went back down. Now it's even worse, right? And we had to
It's
build
even worse, and some of the people that led Reformasi movement basically become what is tantamount to class traders. I'm gonna call out the names. Budiman Sujatmiko. He was kidnapped. He was tortured by Suharto's military regime in 1998. Now he's Prabowo's biggest glazers.
Fuck, man. That shit sucks.
Imagine become the glazer of the person who tortured you.
Oh Oh God, yeah. It's like what kind of level of like Stockholm syndrome is this? Is this shit? You know. It could also be like he's probably afraid to goes through the same torture again. But that's like cowardice. Like it's either like you die like like a heroic death or like grovel to your knees. I would rather like I would not grovel to my knees. Just kill me. If it means that you have to kill me, just kill me. What the fuck? I don't want to do this. And also like austerity and militarization
I think it also
must be met with like general strikes and armed self-defense, but that's the thing, it's so hard to do that though.
society. Oh my god, not again. Okay, hello.
No, you're back.
I got disconnected again. Sorry. Hello.
No, it's okay. I said like austerity and militarization should
Hello,
be...
man. I cannot hear you.
Sorry. Hello. Hold on. Let me just enter the call again. Hello.
Oh.
Am I back?
Oh my god. Hello.
Can you hear me?
But I cannot hear you for some reason. No, I cannot
damn.
hear you. That's
Damn,
That's the
okay.
weird part. I'm just gonna move to my phone then.
Oh wow, your internet is not cooperating today.
Hang on.
Hello, Tile?
Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, okay, I'm back.
Okay,
I'm
cool.
just gonna... Yeah, I'm back.
Okay. From APAC to the pharmaceutical industry, the oil tycoons and real estate firms, investors, billionaires, and all vying for the big bad U.S. government to pull some strings for them. Yeah, he's not afraid. He was shunned by his own party of PDIP, got put into another not promising district, and he decided to crash out. And join Prabowo. Okay, well, now we know he doesn't have any principles. Then
Yep.
that
Yeah,
shit sucks,
also
man.
Hayama point out that in Indonesia the term workers is divided by Suharto. So like there's buruh to describe the blue collar workers and the karyawan to describe the white collar. It gives them like a psychological impression, especially to the middle class, especially that they are the better employees, like they are the better workers because they have the cool terms and better terms. They're not dirty like buruh.
It's classic divide and conquer, basically. Of course, Look, God punished them for their heresy. It was government restricting access. Yeah. The government is monitoring Tile right now. They're cutting his internet access. I would hope that you're gonna be okay though. Like, damn, dude.
Nah, it's just business doing business things. Like I just look at Twitter and see the people that are mentioning my ISP and like, God damn it, you stupid piece of shit, fix the internet.
Yeah.
So yeah,
right.
No surprise there.
So any like parting words to everyone? Like, you want to wrap up the discussion?
Yeah, the solution would be excellent for the socialists and the yeah. Like Indonesia could have been so much better, but we have to work with existing limitations like by law and by other years of indoctrination and propaganda that makes it really hard for a leftist movement to grow. Like, I'm glad that at least the sentiment has been changing, especially post the legalization of the Jobs Creation Act. A lot of people start talking about leftist and Marxist ideas more openly in public, but it's not mainstream. But the discussions are now public, so there is at least something. And and ironically, one of the biggest Facebook pages was like this page called Neneng, I forgot her full name, but this Neneng person like bought the page of Indonesian Marxists and then like start talking about Marxist ideas from her perspective as a woman,
Yeah.
as a farmer in rural areas. Yeah, Neneng Rosidna. We have even like a joke that like Neneng is like the next vanguard of Marxism here.
Right.
Like
She's the
but
Rosa
unfortunately
Luxemburg
recently,
of Indonesia.
yeah, but unfortunately her account got suspended
Oh
recently.
god damn. Okay.
Well, like yeah, like
Nenengism.
despite Neneng had some grounds, but the censorship still happened. So like we have to get creative. Like I
She's
have,
just
like for
whatever.
example,
Yeah.
I have to get creative. I use like an opposite color aesthetics for like it's a design reason. Like if I want to talk about leftist ideas openly in public, well, I need to be as like friendly as possible, like as lit up as possible. It's unfortunate I'm slowly a little bit more opening up to the ideas as more my audience and followers starting to understand and have grown class consciousness, but it's a long way to go. Like
For sure,
it took like us years for some of us to find, especially younger generations, to have finally have some class consciousness. But it would also take another 5 years for like your average Indonesian, your dad, your mom, or like others to finally understand that the government is shitty not just because they are shitty, but also because they do not care about the people's material conditions. They do not care about the working class.
They
if we
care
want to
about
get working class
profits. They care about
agendas, then
turning
we
a
have
profit.
to talk about socialist ideas.
They care about turning a for companies to turn a profit and also to amass wealth for themselves to pocket. Like that's what they care about the most. That's why they're letting all these companies run amok.
Yeah.
So, there's material
Because I've
evidence,
seen people like they already understand like their problems lies in the material conditions, but they cannot connect the dots between like, okay, I'm like the government is being shitty, I'm out of my job, there's no social security, there's no social net. The fuck am I supposed to do? Why the government is like this? Why they are pro capital? Why they sided with the capitalists? And like, dude, you're almost there. Come on.
Yeah, you're almost there, but you're still like you're so close but so far. Yeah, it's try to make
so
the
close.
connections.
Like, come on, just.
That's true. It's really hard
if
when
more people can build.
On the other hand, we have kids.
If
On
more
the other
people can
hand,
build the connection.
we have kids who follow Neneng. On the other hand, we have an Indonesian Christo-fascist 16-year-old. Yeah. Yeah. Bro, that was the wildest shit I've ever experienced. Like having to like vet my forms. I vet the forms like personally, right? So I read everything that people write, and it's not about what they like. It's not about what they write or what they agree with, but how they say it, how they answer the questions. That's how I read people from their vetting forms. Yeah. But anyway, so
yeah, there's like I reminded of this one tweet from like Indonesian activists. It's like, yeah, there's this superpower forces that want to downgrade the quality of these people. They want to remove our workers' rights and make us poor, blah 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 blah. And like, dude, you're so close of getting it. You're just one step further from getting it. Come on.
Yeah. Like, how are you not?
God.
Like, how are you like? How do you have like a college degree or even like post-grad degree and you can't put 2 and 2 together, man? Come on. Like if Chairman Mao's peasants were able to put 2 and 2 together, you can do it as well, you know? If the peasants in Vietnam were able to put 2 and 2 together, you can do it as well, you know? Like really.
Yep.
But yeah, like, and do you have any message for chat to reach you? Where can people reach you? Where can people follow you?
Like, if you will get like, you can follow me on like, basically on any social media. My name is like Kyle Hopper.
Kyle Hopper. Same handle, right?
Twitch,
across the
Twitter,
board.
Blue
Twitch,
Sky.
Twitter.
Same handle across the
Blue
board.
Sky as well.
Except for TikTok. Blue Sky is all kyleHopper.my.id. I have custom domains.
Okay.
So across that line, and I'm I stream every Monday and Friday. Indonesian time starts at 7:30. This week, like starting tomorrow, I'm gonna like do like a daily stream, just like breaking down the revisions to the Indonesian Penal Code with a lawyer, because like screw it,
That's true. You got a lawyer
I'm just
up.
gonna do get a lawyer
Yeah.
up. So there's that. That's my agenda. You can also follow me on Twitter, but most of my tweets are in Bahasa Indonesia, especially when I talk about Indonesian
Right,
issues.
yeah. So on your streams, do you
But you
also
can
speak
always
in English?
it's a mix. Like sometimes Indonesian, sometimes English. Like if people ask question in English, I'll try to answer it in English.
Okay, all right. Yeah, because some of my followers might want to like drop by your streams as well to kind of. But I think some of them can under like some of them are Indonesian too, so they they probably understand you.
Yeah.
Anyway, unless there's like a regional
yeah.
bahasa or something. But you're speaking in like the national bahasa, or do you have like regional stuff?
Yeah, speaking of
like,
national bahasa.
Do you have regional?
We have like regional
dialects?
and like ethnicity-based language dialects.
Okay, yeah, all right.
We
That's
have
pretty
national
cool.
language. Like I think that's one of the Sukarno's greatest achievement, like having a national language.
Okay. Yeah.
It was his idea. Like, yeah, we need like we all speak different languages. We need like a
To
universal
unify,
one.
yeah. They need to unify the nation, like to be able to like communicate with each other. I mean, that's yeah. And also, yeah, thank you so much for like reaching out to me and like talking about this, because really don't have as much idea about like what really is going on in Indonesia. And I learned a lot, man. That's very educational. And also like I mean I all the more I'm more like kind of like keeping my eyes open, like from towards the movements across like in the global south, the workers movements in the global south. So yeah, we're cooked
And I
right
hope
now.
it's a learning
Mm.
and I hope it's a learning experience for a lot of people, because I feel like Indonesia is like an invisible country in a way, even
Yeah.
among the leftists who pay attention to the global south issues. Is like not only there's a language barriers,
Yeah.
it's like our government's way of like implementing fascism is through like subtleties and like playing around the
Yeah, I mean, after they
rules that is
massacred all the
established by
communists,
neoliberals.
they didn't need to do like brute force anymore. It was all
Yeah.
about like cultural, like cultural brainwashing at that point,
Yeah.
indoctrination.
Cultural brainwashing, like building systems that
Yeah.
make sure like anything that the government do cannot be traced back to them.
The Twitch collab we needed
Like,
in
they
this
want to
uncertain
suppress
time.
people.
Yeah. I didn't expect this to
they
happen
want-
either, but like I'm glad that you reached out, because I also wanted to revisit like most of the time I'm concerned about like what Imperial Core is doing, but also it's a good thing to also look at the fascisms, all the fascist governments that are happening, or that are that are being implemented on fascist governments that are being implemented in the global south as well. So yeah,
Yeah.
thank you so much for
Because-
having
No, that's good.
for joining the
Thank
stream.
you. Yeah, and it helps. I hope it helps a lot of you, especially non-Indonesians, to like spot the signs of like a more subtle ways of which
Yeah.
fascism can establish.
honest,
their
though, like, they're not
groundings
being-
based on rule of law and not force.
They're not really being subtle about it though, like with the laws, like it's just blatant, like fucking okay, well you can't do this now. Like it's just what do you call this? Like they just act with impunity because they know that there is no opposition. They understand that like there's like no opposition that can actually that is like a major threat to them. So they just do whatever the fuck they want. Like to be honest, I don't feel like it's subtle even, because they're just like being emboldened now, right? Maybe during the
They're now being emboldened. Like,
yeah, maybe during Jokowi they were like being subtle about it, but now like nah, this is fascism, So
yeah, like now we have the rules.
mm,
Now we can do whatever we want.
they can be
They stop being
enforced,
subtle.
and
But they still like for like direct actions, like getting their hands dirty, beating up protesters. They still use organizations instead of themselves, so they can paint a picture of like we have a democracy to the Western world order.
Too broke to get out, too insane to stay alive. Yeah. We are in the Indonesian era of good feeling. Where do you get the feeling though? How do you like get into the mindset? And yet we don't want to die before seeing this regime fall down. Yeah, don't do that. Yeah, like if anything, let this motivate you to like see this all like regimes rise and fall. So like wait for the fall. You have to. You gotta be there to see it.
Yeah, you gotta be there and you gotta push it.
Yeah. Yeah, with everything else going on in the world, who's going to hold them accountable? The UN? No, the UN is not doing shit, man. Memes, that's how we cope.
Yeah, nobody is gonna do shit. Like, nobody, not even the supposed Western liberal order gonna do shit because our government is like the master class of avoiding accountability. They could just say, oh, that's just random civil organizations. Wasn't us who beat up the protesters. Oh, if the hackers, they were just like, bad faith actors. They're not affiliated with the government or anything.
Damn. Our government do what the Japanese do after occupation in Indonesia for the first time. Make them look friendly and then boom, ruthless as hell. Yeah. Yeah, one of the reasons not to commit sui is to see one's enemy's downfall. Exactly. Don't. Never kill yourself,
Yeah.
Their only threat would be the people that have nothing to lose in the future. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you have nothing to lose but your chains. Wait, organize? Yeah, organize.
Yeah, and honestly, my last hope is that organize. And my last hope is that this at least helps you, especially foreigners or like leftists, foreign leftists, become more aware about what's going on in Indonesia, and like you can help by just like helping spread any, like if you find like Indonesian news that are like in English, go retweet it. Like if you see our civil organizations who are like down in the streets protesting and they're making like press release in English, retweet it. It's like it's the least you can do because there's not a lot you can do as a foreigner.
Yeah.
You try to go here and do a coverage, you're just gonna get deported.
Damn, really?
So the best all you can do is the police just released a new like standard operating procedure that like prohibits any foreigners to cover like say political protests. So like even let's say Hassan suddenly visits Indonesia and like he wants to talk with Indonesian civil organizations, that's illegal. He can get deported.
For real? What the hell?
Yep. It's a new thing they just passed.
No way, dude. They're really trying to crack on every form of freedom of speech, of any free speech. That anything that's covered by free speech, they're cracking down on it. That is insane. Yep. Hassanavi versus Hassan Nasbi would be funny to see.
Yeah, that's one thing I wish we can see down the road.
Hassan Nasbi, the evil Hassan. Yeah. That's just fascism. All right. So, thank you guys for like joining us and participating in the discussion. And also Tile, thank you for like explaining to us to the chat like everything that's going on in Indonesia. So,
and your chat seems like the one to watch the act of killing, so maybe we can do that. I can provide the Indonesian context.
I'm not sure how how it would do like with like copyright wise though, because I've been doing the Soviet ones because Soviet is like Soviet films do not have DMCA, so I'm not sure like will it DMCA my channel?
Yeah, I mean we could do it over the Discord.
Okay. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see about it. Okay, all right. Probably not. No DMCA over it. Like. I just need to unpublish it or something. Is it like open to public though?
Which one? The act of killing? I mean, they put it on torrent sites, right? If I recall correctly, like because the Indonesians tried to crack down on any screening Joshua Oppenheimer just like, fuck it, I'm putting on Pirate Bay. I don't know if that means it's
Oh, okay. Then that means like it's
public
not.
domain.
It's not. It's like no company is like doing a
Yeah,
copyright
it's
for
on
this.
YouTube.
Oh,
At
that's
least
good.
like the
That's
full
cool.
film is on YouTube. It's on Internet Archive too, so maybe.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'll try to see if how much time I have, like, cause it depends on how long it is too. But yeah, I have some
Yeah.
streams lined up. But yeah, I'll hit you up whenever, like whenever I get this scheduled. In that case.
All right.
Yeah. All right. So I would be ending the stream soon. So guys, follow Tile Hopper. The same handle in Twitch and the same on Twitter and Blue Sky. And Tile, thank you so much. Well, I'll talk to you soon. All right. Okay.
Yeah, talk to
Bye,
you soon,
chat.
Dick.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye,
Bye,
Ans.
chat.
Bye. Later.
Bye.